Who could I trust? Shit, I don't know. Bitches be flaking, these niggas hoes. Niggas was talking what they was gonna do to a nigga when I saw them niggas froze. Boy, I had dreams of a Chevy, but now I see me in the roads. Folks to knock, I'm the fucking greatest. Bitch, I made it, that's all my haters. Who could I trust? Shit, I don't know. Bitches be flaking, these niggas hoes. Niggas was talking what they was gonna do to a nigga when I saw them niggas froze. Boy, I had dreams of a Chevy, but now I see me in the roads. Folks to knock, I'm the fucking greatest. Bitch, I made it, that's all my haters. I counted on you and you flaked on me. I told you I love you, you hated on me. I was just grinding into the money, laughing at niggas, you niggas funny. But play no games with me, no I bang, nigga. Yeah, I changed, but the same nigga, and I'm still rocking with my A1s. All black, 5th Akon. Tank top, yeah, I bear arms. Grizzly with it, I'm in bear form. Born and raised in the Cub City. Self-made like Frank Nitty, untouchable. Now that's Al Capone, I gotta keep it on me, that's my ride along. Flow colder than the Ice Cube. I'm a young nigga with an attitude. Bad bitch, hair silky smooth. Remy weed, she like it pulled too. And I chuck the deuces when I pull through. Chain hanging off the neck like a noose. Dropping bombs on them, nigga, this a new. You a dick riding, I don't follow suits. I got different ties. Never fold like a bow tie, huh? I'm talking 4 ties, how I ride. I don't spare guys. Damn, they thought it was a mannequin challenge. These niggas froze when they saw I. Rolls Royce, I want it all gold on 24s and call that bitch Kobe. Rolex watch with no diamonds in it, that's perfect timing, I'm shining. Who could I trust? Shit, I don't know. Bitches be flaking, these niggas hoes. Niggas was talking what they was gonna do to a nigga when I saw them niggas froze. Boy, I had dreams of a Chevy, but now I see me in the roads. Folks to knock, I'm the fucking greatest. Bitch, I made it, that's all my haters. Who could I trust? Shit, I don't know. Bitches be flaking, these niggas hoes.
Peace, everyone. Salute. Welcome to the late show. It is Knowledge Uprising, Dojo and Nikki C. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to each one of our channels, and make sure to hit that share button. What it do?
What's up, y'all?
Peace to everybody, man. Peace to Raph, man. Peace to 7 grams, man. Peace to Dot, man. Peace to Yahweh, man. Peace to everybody. Let's fucking go.
Oh man. So man, what's the word? What's been going on, man? What's been going on with everybody? How y'all doing first off, and how was everyone's week, man?
Yeah, I'm just glad this week is over with, man. You know what I'm saying? I had a loved one pass away, man. She lived forever and things like that. Nigga thought I was gonna die from sepsis and shit. I thought my guts was leaking into my bloodstream. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But I'm back. Bitches, I'm back now. I'm back. I'm stronger than ever. You know what they say? If it don't kill you, it only make you stronger. Or your skin tougher. One or the other. You know. No, I'm Gucci the Versace though. It's been a cool week. Damn, it's been a hell of a week for me. I don't know about you. How about you? Knowledge, it's been a hell of a week for me though.
It's been a usual week for me, man. It ain't been too bad, Like I said, the beginning of the week, I got my monetization for YouTube, became a partner, so I was excited about that, and I was actually able to drop some of the content I've been working on, as far as like the music, and I'm still working on a few other things. Like I said, I've been doing like 10 projects at one time, and I'm just trying to stay consistent and get it out there to the people. Uh, Other than that, I worked 2 days this week, and now I got the weekend off, and I'm looking forward to this because I'm able to do more live streaming and work on some content in between live streams and dropping videos. And it's like, man, I'm just trying to go crazy right now. What
I heard
about
that.
you, Nikki C?
What was the question? I walked away. What was my week like?
Yeah. How was your week? Yeah.
My week was interesting. It was just interesting. It wasn't a lot of activity this week. It was a lot of time for reflection. So that's what I had for the week.
Okay, cool. And I got this book, but I love reading it. I got like 2 different copies of it right here. Invisible Power, Genevieve Barron. I love that book. Let me show y'all my other copy of it though. My other copy, uh, it's small print, right? Let me pop it up right here real quick. my other copy. Here it is right here. So
Trying to bit up.
so this is my other copy. I got notes all in this thing and all types of stuff. I got all types of different types of stuff in it, but Sheer Invisible Power. And you see this book, I done had it for some years and it got worn out. I started taping it together. So I went and uh, I got me a new copy of it, but it's large print, but it still has this message. But yeah, man, I've been diving back into this book. I love this book. Like I said, my old copy, I just been putting notes in it, like just about special relativity and time dilation expansion, talking about velocity and prime time and stationary time and just some stuff I was looking up in relation to black holes and I got all types of shit in this book, man. But and I took notes in it too though.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been back diving into my books.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But like I said, I had to get another copy because that one copy, you seen it. It's taped up on the corners and all that. I had to get me a new copy of it. And I'll take the book to work with me every night, so it's just
I got.
something.
I want to say this. I got enough. I found my notebook this week that I have all the notes from our history and H.O.T.C. Whatever I wrote down about anything is in this book. We could really come out with a book if we want. I'm
Hell
pretty
yeah.
sure all of us got something to add to it.
Hell yeah. I don't know. Sometimes when I be reading, it gives me a little motivation.
That's what's up.
Because for the longest, I was reading this one book right here, and I like it because it's it's powerful too. Like matter of fact, I got a lot of books. So let me show y'all. I'm just gonna show y'all two books, and that's it. Two more books. Let me see here. So lay out. Uh, right here. This is one of my favorite books outside of Stephen King's 11/22/63. This is by Robert Greene, the Laws of Human Nature. I love this book too. It's a thick one, but but I uh, I love that book. And this is another book by Joe Dispenza, uh, Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself. That's another book I've been vibing with too. Like I said, I got all types of books. I be reading, man. I love like the law of human nature because it's like understanding the psychology of humans and their nature. And it talks about how everyone uh, has a little bit of empathy and narcissistic behavior in them. It's very intriguing.
Hey, I remember that shit. You remember that shit? That whole narc shit. That narc shit came out, boy. That shit lasted for like 4 months. Turned everybody fucking professional, narcissistic, fucking crazy shit.
Different.
Everybody, that was everybody using that term. Everybody became narcs. When that narcissist shit came out, everybody was fucking diagnosed with that.
it,
For
it,
real.
it's like a sliding scale. Like like if you're more on one side you show more empathy, and if you're on the other side, you display more of the narcissist behavior. You know, it's very intriguing, and it's like it talks about the psychology and how to understand people, and and what eye movement and understanding body language and gestures, and it talks
Yeah,
about all
I just
kinds
I
of
got to
shit.
the point where it's like fuck all the titles and the labels. Just it's all based on behavior. And then you know what I mean. Once I
There
did
you
that,
go. There you go.
I kind of felt I understood it all. Well, understood it all with everybody. You know what I mean. It's all based on behavior. You know what I mean. Once a person stop giving it titles and descriptions and stuff, then we'll have a chance to get away from the system and start seeing that it is the behavior of a person. You know what I mean? Because once you start getting into the
Right.
narcissistic shit, that's when you start learning about gaslighting, stonewalling, of the
Yep.
avoiding contact, all that weird shit. You know what I mean? It's good to learn, but overall, it's behavior.
Yep. And,
Overall,
and realizing patterns
yeah,
within
pattern recognition.
yourself and
Shit, you can do
others.
that
Yeah.
shit now. Pattern recognition is what's going on right
hmm
now.
hmm hmm
Well,
and you know another thing, it helps me like put a name to shit I didn't know. You get what I'm saying? I like that. Yeah, I done had that book for like about 4 years now. Hell yeah, I got that book when I around the time I had got my chess books. Cause my chess books was about thick as that too. You know, in my chess books it talks about like it's kind of like a master class book. And it talks about how some of the greatest matches in the history of chess, and why the person made certain moves, and how it influenced the game and stuff like that. Like it's very intense, especially when they break it down move by move. Like they got this one game called the opera game. Like that was a dope ass game. Y'all into chess? Y'all play chess?
yeah, yeah. I got to the point where I got bored after a while. I hate when you know what I mean. I got too good. I mean, I wasn't like on the
Oh,
road
I
and
gotta
shit,
play you
but
online, man. Then, man, if you got to download chess time, man, and I send you an invite.
yeah,
Hell
this shit
yeah.
where you can play live. People can watch live matches. Niggas can,
hmm
you know what I mean, bet $5 on games and stuff like that. I used to play against them penitentiary niggas. I used to be
Hell
putting
yeah.
hits on their ass. I was like, nigga, this is not, you know what I'm saying? I didn't learn my game from the penitentiary. I learned mine from the black and white checkers. You know what I'm saying? I learned mine learning the board first. You know what I mean? And then I learned then I learned the moves. The
Yeah.
pieces. I learned the board, then I learned the pieces. Then I started taking on opponents.
Hell yeah. I play with family a lot. Peace, she's Keita. How you doing out there? Welcome to the show. But yeah, man. I play a lot with my uncle, and I play a lot with people online, and like anytime I know somebody and they be like, well, yeah, I play chess. So I'd be like, oh shit, come on, man. Let me send you an invite. Because I was playing people on chess.com. Like Root Words, he on there. He play against people on chess.com. And but I like the Chess Time app because all of them you can watch games live. That's what I love about it. You can see where a person starts sweating and moving too fast. But what I love about Chess Time, because I play my uncle on it just about every day. You know, I done slowed down a little bit because I've been doing other shit. But you get 24 hours to make a move, you know? And that's the dope part. So one game could last about 2 weeks. That should be fun, man. That should be fun. I ain't gonna lie, he be tearing my ass up. He old school. And then
Yeah.
like I said, I be reading up on them masterclass games. Like them dudes, the way they played the shit so good, it was because they didn't have other stuff to distract them. Like they actually just sat there and did nothing but chess. They didn't have no radios and TVs and phones and everyday life. Like you read up some of the stories on these people that played chess, like back in like certain times, like 1850 or 1840. Like they sat there and that's all they did. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They got this little black kid out there. Well, little dark melanated kid out there. He play like he be playing like 10 people at one time. You know, all he do is just walk in a big ass circle. He walk in a big ass circle, and all the games are being played, and while everybody concentrating on their next move, he just walking by, just moving that motherfucker, bam, 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 bam. He don't even sit there and concentrate with him at all. That's because he got the board mastered. You know, when you mastered the board, all that strategy shit out the door. You know what I'm saying? All that strategy out the door. When you learn the board, nigga, you already know that motherfucker move to M4 or 7 or whoop whoop, right? Yeah, that shit's out the door. Cause now, you know, man, this little black kid though, this boy whooping everybody ass. Some motherfuckers is tripping. They still don't give him no credit though. You know what I'm saying? You know how that shit work. We can do some phenomenal shit, and then these motherfuckers will still be like, huh?
Yep.
I knew you can do that type of shit.
So did they ever find that one boy? Speaking of that, you remember they was talking about that boy making that plastiline, that making that powering cars out of turning gas, not
Of
gas,
plastic
but
and water and shit. Yeah, his mama
yeah,
hit his ass. You
yeah.
know how
Did
these
they
people
ever
do it.
find him? Because I know they were saying he was missing like about a week or two ago.
His ass ain't missing. They gotta he gotta you gotta keep some hype around yourself. You know what I'm saying? He was like talking about the government gonna come and get you. If the government wants your ass trust, nigga, you ain't running nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here with that shit, nigga. If they can find billionaires and millionaires, nigga, if they want you to come get you, especially if they want to get you out the way. Fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if he's in this country or not, but ain't no running from them
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
because I seen a pop up saying he's doing like this show in Atlanta, or he's doing like this little thing in Atlanta. I was like, man, I thought they said this nigga was missing. All of a sudden, he doing some goddamn posting flyers on fucking YouTube and Facebook. I was like, man, I thought this nigga was missing, man. Motherfuckers done did video talking about how this nigga done got missing and somebody snatched him up. Man,
Ain't nobody snatched him up. He's trying to figure it out. Once he patents his his conversion, I don't know. You still gotta build You still gotta build mechanical devices that work with that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be smart, but damn, Nick, you know what I mean? You know, you don't figure out how to turn fucking plastic into gas. You know what I mean? But will that work in the engine? Is that gonna start a car? Fuck around and blow the motherfucker up. I don't know. I don't know, man. But peace to brother though, man. He out there doing this thizzle, nigga. I can't do no shit like that. Um,
hell yeah.
nah, I can't do no shit like that. I don't even know where to be.
Hurricane, salute to your peace, brother.
Salutes, and he be dealing with a lot of microwaves and stuff. He gets, you know what I'm saying? You know, I get it. He gets like microwaves, and he busts them down and start to and start to build his own stuff. You know what I mean? Compressors, stuff like that. You know, you got to be into
Yeah.
stuff like that though.
And I see like the way he processes it and turns the plastic into plastiline or whatever he calls it. He
Placeline,
acts,
there you go.
yeah, he it's a chemical process to where he breaks it down and make it, he burns the plastic, gets it into a liquid, and then he shoots it like through like a device as if you're trying to distill liquor. And then
Right. Okay.
and then when it drips, that's he filters that to where you can use it in a car.
That shit'll take forever, bro. Talk about a full tank, nigga. Take about a week to get a full tank that way.
Nigga, distilling gas.
Distilling gas is hey, it's good. It sounds like a good pitch, man. But damn, man, it sounds like it'll take forever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Speaking of
I,
gas, you know the turbines on jets. That's more like a those are Samaritan. That's Samaritan technology. that the turbines on jets is the same technology they use for like Vermatas and the Samaritan techs and stuff like that. Me and the guy, a good friend of mine, was looking at him earlier, right? We was just like, you know what I mean? It's always the simple shit too. And we looking at this shit, was like, fuck it, let's look at the dynamics of it. We looking at it. This shit said that these motherfucking that the jets hold like 63,000 tons of gas in that motherfucker. We're like, bullshit, right? Where the fuck they hold 63,000 tons of gas on the jet, right? So
Yeah,
first things first, we look up 63,000 tons so we can see what it looked like. Nigga, ain't no motherfucking way. You know what I'm saying? That whole jet would have to be full of gas. And they trying to
yeah.
say that they hold 63,000 tons in the fucking wings. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't no
That's hold on.
63,000
That's where the
tons of
gas
gas in the
be at in jets. They be in the wings.
fuck, man. These fuckers are lying like a motherfucker. They using Samaritan turbines on jets, bro. Meaning that they only have to put so much little fuel in it, and that's just enough for it to get off the ground and land. Other than that, when that motherfucker in the air, that shit ain't running on nothing. It's just running on that Samaritan
You
cylinder
know
type
what? I could
tech.
see that. I could see that, bro, and that make perfect sense.
Yep. Because you're
For,
not
for
put you're not
because
putting
because
sixty
some
three
because some
thousand tons of
airplane
fuel.
flights like motherfuckers be flying from New York to London, and that shit be taking like 8 hours, 10 hours, and people be taking 16-hour flights to the Philippines from
Right.
California, or they go to Florida, then California. I mean Hawaii. They go to Hawaii, then the Philippines, and like them 16-hour flights. You telling me that shit stay in the air for that long? Because I be trying to make sense of it. Okay, I can get it if it's a ship or something in the water. You know, you just got to have enough speed, momentum to give that ship a push, and it's just eventually going to be going. You ain't got to propel it or nothing. You know, all you got to do is just hit the brake, drop an anchor. And then I thought about a car. A car, okay, you going to have to refuel after a certain amount of time. Ain't no car going to drive no goddamn 16 hours, man. But you got these planes doing 16 hours and 12 hours and 8-hour trips in the air, man. You get what I'm saying, Dojo?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, brother. You know what I mean? And ain't no way in hell they doing 16 hours in a you know what I'm saying? You're not doing 16 hours for one on you know what I mean? It's like you got me looking at some images right now. But no, the gas tanks on the motherfuckers is not gonna take you out 16 hours, nor is they're not that big. You know what I mean? And then there's no room. These tanks aren't big, bro. They put the fuel in the wings. They say the wings is what's the tanks, you know what I mean, host the tanks. But these motherfucking wings is like, bro, don't you know if they put that much fuel in the wings, that motherfucking plane ain't coming off the ground. You know what I'm saying? As it is, got these big ass engines, these big ass turbines on there. The turbine engines only use enough gas to get that bitch in the sky. Once that bitch in the sky, something about those engines know how to use the air to keep it up there.
So it's like it's gliding.
It's kind of like it's gliding, but it's like sucking in air and keeping that bitch up there, bro. I'm looking for the schematics. I didn't think I was gonna have to go this deep with it, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I should have done this earlier. If you look at the images, you know what I mean, of what I'm talking about, it'll blow your fucking mind. You know what I'm saying? Let me look up some shit real quick while we sitting here talking. It'll blow your fucking mind because a jet, the wingspan with the two big ass engines on the side, bro, they're so humongous that 60, man, look, hold on. Let me get some schematics down, bro. I didn't think I was gonna have to build on this. I didn't think this shit was gonna come up. But when you said gas, that's what caused us to think about it. Let me see.
There you go. It always starts like that. It always starts like that. And then I'm thinking like, it makes me think about Leonardo and what Da Vinci, like because he was doing schematics, and they say he influenced the Wright brothers to make their airplane, and if you look at it, that fucker was a glider, bro. The Wright brothers, they shit was a glider. It had an engine enough to get them up in the air, and once they was in the air, the shit was gliding really.
And that's the thing about the Rice brothers. It's like during the Rice brothers over here in the United States, they was fucking with paper planes and shit and trying to ride a bicycle with wings with paper planes. But on the other side of the fucking ocean, these motherfuckers was having fucking Kentucky dirt, not Kentucky, but they was having fucking dog fights and shit, flying fighter jets, nigga, because there wasn't enough time span between the Wright brothers and the fighter jets. You know what I'm saying? You when you look at aviation was already conquered before the Wright brothers started attempting to. They just gave us we just learned it from the Wright brothers. You know what I mean? But when you start looking up the Wright brothers, you'll notice that fuck, this is a while back too. You know what I mean? I'm getting old. I'm getting old. This is old back. But if you're looking at when you look at the Wright brothers, go across seas. When you go across seas, you start noticing that they were already having dogfights with airplanes. They were having are they called dogfights when they fucking go in the air and joust with the planes and shit? They was jousting with airplanes already.
Jousting. I thought the dog fights that didn't that derive from like where they had the wars and they was like shooting like they was actually having them first little planes with the big ass spinning propeller
Those
in the front.
planes, yes, those planes were out. Those planes were out. See, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. It's starting to get difficult, or should I say I'm starting to get lightweight frustrated when I'm talking, and I know that I can keep visuals with my audio, because that's where it's at for me right now. Right now, I'm really feeling
Facts.
like I should keep my visuals with my audio, because the shit I start talking about, I'll be wanting to spill. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's like
Like,
niggas be like you be wanting to like people be wanting to see that and you be wanting to like goddamn show it. Like I get what you're
fuck yeah,
saying.
bro, so they can see where I got the enthusiasm from. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, this shit is like,
Hell yeah.
because I certain things hype me up that like people can give a fuck less about, and vice versa. You know, but I'm gonna be real. When you these rabbit holes, they're thorough, man. They're real thorough.
Hell
And my
yeah.
main rabbit hole on got the main rabbit hole. There's only two rabbit holes that I'm really building my content on as this year ends, and one of them just took a wild fucking turn, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's probably why I feel like that about the visuals. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you think I'll be barking up the wrong tree, or you think I'm going to see now if I tell you that the Great Lakes were man or machine made. You know what I'm saying? There's some things
Hell,
going
they
on.
might be, bro. They might be.
Yes, bro. Yes, and they match the same ones across the earth. You know what I'm saying? So much so, bro, that every Great Lake that you look up, they all got dunes right next to it. Like if something dug the fucking shit out and made the dunes. When you look at the Great Lakes, right? The time span, the Earth couldn't have done that in the same time span. I got the images. I got the footnotes. I got the work, my nigga. I got the work, bro. And I'm gonna be real with you. Can't nobody fuck with me on this topic, my nigga. This whole terraforming Earth, this whole like something happened at the beginning, this whole shit, right?
Yeah.
The shit done got too thorough now, bro. To the point
Yeah.
where I'm calling out motherfucking scientists on the lakes, my nigga. I can show you, I can pull up my information right now and show you how these motherfuckers got dunes. They got sand dunes by pretty much each one. Everything is done like you won't get those results. You only get those results through, man, bro. Hold on. Let me fuck this. Where my shit at? You know what I'm saying? This is the whole purpose of me not even wanting to do certain things, man. Because I want to put this shit out there, bro. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real with you, my nigga. This shit is crazy work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's on something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Dojo's on this shit though. I'm on this terraforming shit. I've been on this terraforming shit since the very fucking beginning. I didn't think it would turn like this. My nigga, a lot of this shit is that evidence is right in front of our motherfucking faces. And what's crazy about it, right? Like with the terraforming shit that I'm showing everybody, when I was bringing up the expos, World Expos, when you look at the World Expos, just the ones that was done in the United States, right? It's going to show you how they brought the Siberians over here. It's going to show you how they brought the Native Americans over here and everybody else, all the immigrants. They used the fucking World Expos to sell the land to the immigrants, to bring over the fucking Siberian Eskimo looking natives and put them in place. I got all the images, my nigga. The pictures don't lie, dog. The pictures don't lie. These motherfuckers are on the same boats, and I got the names of the boats and everything. They're on the same boats with the Jews, and the same boats with the Germans, and the same boats with the Russians, and the same boats with the British. Every motherfucking YT person who came over here, they came over here with already immigrants on the boats with them, and they used the World
Mm.
Expos to integrate them niggas into society. I'm showing it. I'm showing this shit, my nigga. This shit is crazy work.
Crazy motherfucking word. So it's like the evidence is out there now, my nigga. We ain't gotta look too far now. We know exactly how y'all motherfuckers got over here and which motherfuckers y'all brought with y'all. We got you motherfuckers now. And it's crazy because y'all use the World Expos from San Francisco to Chicago. There's tons of them. I got the whole list of the World Expos. And by doing so, they was taking architect and transferring that shit to different locations and shit. This is why you got obelisk everywhere. This is why you got fucking look like Tartaria was everywhere. These motherfuckers, there was a great reset that'll blow your fucking mind, bro. It'll blow your mind. You would think that I was talking wild shit, nigga. But by the time I'm done before the year's over with, this shit gonna be right there, right smack in everybody's face. Right smack, ain't no way around it. Only thing I'm doing now is ironing out the wrinkles so it stays in chronological order. So that way you can teach it to a 5-year-old. Nigga, but I'm gonna tell you right now, all this shit was man-made. And when the mud floods happened, that shit was man. I'm gonna show you some shit. The mud floods brought in. Remember we was talking about the sediment? It's
Yeah,
man, look, bro. Let me
yeah,
calm my ass down. Bro, I'm gonna show you some shit. You're gonna be like, God damn. It's like, yeah, bro. And like they had man, look, man. This shit bigger, nigga. This shit way big, bro. This shit way big. Niggas is on some other shit right now. This shit is way big. These motherfuckers on terraforms and shit, right? And then fed it back
yeah,
to us. Remember, I was telling you how they was when y'all was asking me. Listen to the live streams last time. Y'all was asking me about my thoughts about why they kidnapping kids and shit. I gave you my perspective, and come to find out
yeah.
that perspective came to be true. You know what I'm saying? Every time they terraform a fucking location, they take a whole bunch of orphans or a whole bunch of fucking kids that they unstole from somewhere to put them out there to start civilization again. I got it all laid out, dog. It's all laid the fuck out.
Mm.
It's all laid out, my nigga. They've been doing this shit. They've been doing this shit. And who is they? It's like it's big, bro. It's big. It's big. It's called man. It's big. It's big. It's all kinds of shit, my dog. It is. It's man. It's big as fuck, bro. It's big. It's like I'm tripping because it's like nothing changes. You know what I'm saying? Nothing changes. It hasn't changed. It's just more evidence. You know what I'm saying? More evidence. But like I said though, when it came to the lakes, the Great Lakes, when I started realizing that these dunes at each Great Lake is actually is corresponding with, man, bro, that shit blew my fucking mind. And not only did they fucking terraform the land like the way they did, they actually caused this shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas thinking that this shit is fake, like it's natural catastrophes. No, bro. No. Motherfuckers is actually it's a demolition. Motherfuckers is actually doing demolition, reconstruct all that shit. All that stuff you think that it's like, nah, bro. Nope. That's just crazy work, bro.
Yeah,
I would love. I gotta calm my ass down because my shit is not in the chronological order. But before the year's over with, all that shit is gonna be in chronological order, KU, and it's gonna blow your fucking mind. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? And my mind is gone. My mind is blue. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
All this shit's a
I'm
fucking lie.
intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see them. I can't wait for you. Matter of fact, I can't wait for you to drop the content, bro.
I know, me neither, bro. I'm looking for my book right now because there's certain punch words that a person can catch, right? And if they take those punch words and look that shit up, they'll be like, okay, I see where this nigga going with it.
Yeah,
One of them is fucking all that shit. One of his nested realms stuff, man. There's all kind of crazy shit that I did not think that was possible, bro. But you gotta
yeah.
like, man, look, bro. It's yeah, the Great Lakes are man-made, bro. The liquefied rocks, each lake, man. I got it's called slurry, slurry. You know what I mean? Like I was
Slurry,
telling
slurry. Okay,
slurry.
okay.
I was telling shout out to the great brother Star Platinum. Last time I was up here with Star Platinum, I was telling Star Platinum about has he ever went down that rabbit hole, the Meltrix. You know what I'm saying? I notice a lot of content creators don't know what the Meltrix is. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole rabbit hole within itself. You know what I'm saying? Talking about how how lava was used to melt rock. You know what I mean? To melt these ancient empires, nigga. Like somebody had weapons made of lava, my nigga. Like literally like lava gun, like lava, nigga, and they was melting shit to where it's like if you look at Petra, if you seen the entrance of Petra, everything around Petra looked like that. It's just everything around Petra got melted, and that doorway was the only thing left. But there's so much shit going on, like, and it drives me to know more. It drives me I want to know more because it's like it's like, you know what I mean? Was this done by the Most High? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Because I'm not a believer in the whole get up with the whole Galactic Federation. Fuck all that shit. I don't believe in the Green
Yeah,
Lanterns,
that
nigga. You know what
Galactic
I'm saying?
Federation. Yeah, that's
I'm not
yeah,
with that
yeah. I
shit,
feel
nigga.
you
I
on
ain't
that.
no such thing as a Green Lanterns. And so it's like, you know what I mean? It's only what's going on right here, right now under this great firmament. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, shit. Man, this shit crazy, bro. This shit crazy. A lot of this stuff has been excavation, atmospheric excavation, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be real with you, my nigga. The whole chemtrail, the whole cloud seeding and all that shit, that's old, that's ancient tech, nigga. That's ancient tech. That's how they make the mud floods happen. They know how to put mud in clouds, my nigga, so it rains mud. You know what I'm saying? So it rains mud, and they use it the same way they're using it the way they do doing this cloud seeding. There's so much shit that they're doing from ancient tech that they're using now that we fail to realize. Like we fail to realize that they're using ancient shit that they used before when they began to excavate right before they start right before they start terraform. All that shit's coming together, bro. I'm tripping because it's like I didn't think it was gonna go that wild. But that shit turned wild, bro. When the Great Lakes showed me what they showed me, I was like, oh, okay, this shit gangster now. This shit done got hella
Yeah.
gangster. You know what I'm saying?
What
I'm not
you
Holy
mean?
Spirit led, but nigga, my spirit is eating on it, nigga. My spirit is eating on it because that's what I pray about. I want to know.
So what about the Great Lakes though, bro? Because I got some of these parts. What about the Great Lakes?
The Great Lakes were constructed. They're not naturally formed. They
Okay.
weren't there before. Something came with a period of time and created them. They dug them motherfuckers out, connected everything together, and you follow the dunes of each lake, you can see how when they excavated the lake, how they put the dirt of digging the lakes up to the side. That's what a dune is. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy work. But don't even trip though. I yield. That's about it. I mean, you said gas, it just took me on a tangent. Other than that, this should be in context. You know
Hell
what I'm
no,
saying?
we
The
we
Great
we
Lakes and everything.
conversing right now. That ain't a tangent, bro. You got me thinking, bro.
No, yeah, they do. They
Yeah,
make all
yeah,
this
yeah. Don't
stuff, and I
stop,
believe
bro.
it.
Like
I do
for
believe
real.
you, bro.
You got Dom in the chat going crazy right
Because
now, bro.
do you remember when that last time they had all those atmospheric rivers popping up?
Right, right, right. Literally like oceans in the sky, rivers. I think they call it atmospheric rivers. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Literally like fucking rivers in the sky. You know what I'm saying? And this has been recently these last few years. I've never recalled atmospheric river, and the first time I heard it on the news, I was like, what? Right? And yeah,
And that happened what, a year or two ago?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but when we look at, man, just something, man, and that's just the time I'm on, man. That shit is crazy, and like I was telling you earlier, knowledge how when these great trees. I mean, like we've heard all these concepts before, right? But these tree stumps, right? Like I'm beginning to realize, like, yeah, there's a firmament, and so we can't go up and out the motherfucker. But perhaps we can go under the firmament, my nigga. Maybe these big ass tree stumps, because of their root canals. I was saying all this shit last time, my dude, and it's kind of like by me looking at the stumps and doing more research on the stumps, I'm starting to realize like even paranormal activity happens around these stumps. You know what I'm saying? Some of these stumps perhaps will lead you from up under the firmament, my nigga. These people
Now,
thinking that
now,
we
now,
got
hold on.
Hercules.
It's crazy you said that. Now look at where is it? Where is it? This is what I want to show you because you said that, right? Now look at this. Just imagine this, like the firmament, and like you said, you see how it leads down and then out into something else into purgatory. I don't know.
Mhm.
When you was talking about that earlier, I thought of Dante's Inferno. I mean, it might not have no type of connection, but when you was talking about it earlier, I was like, yo, look at the concept. Like I don't know, bro, and I may be wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Because when we look at giant tree stumps, we look at stump shoals, right? We can see that something with the stump, the soil and the water themselves. That you can see it, bro. Something's like you know what I'm saying? A shoal is like a sandbank. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, man, it's a lot going on. The earth is telling us these ancient, the earth is giving up these secrets, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't gonna be able to hide it too long. These motherfuckers, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot, the whole infrastructure of capitalism and politics and government and all that shit, man. Look, bro, these motherfuckers, man, look, bro, they know what's going on, man. This whole shit was terraformed, my nigga. This whole shit was excavated. The whole thing. The whole get up. You know what I mean? And like I don't know what or how or what type of weapon or who or what type of weaponry. You can just tell. You can just tell that these motherfuckers had like like if they made weapons out of the five elements of nature. You know what I'm saying? You got wind, right? So when you start talking about petrification, that's talking about a lot of wind, mud, elements. You know what I'm saying? But when you start talking about melt tricks and shit and melting rock and lava and melting some of these ancient ruins, right? You're talking about somebody having something that can use lava, bro. Lava does that. Lava does that. You can look at some of these
Yeah.
ancient ruins and tell that something melted the side of that motherfucking rock. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even the debris,
Mm-hmm.
it's just all crazy work. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, who had that technology, when and why? You know what I mean? And besides that, like, who was here first for them to use that type of tech against them? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. It's crazy shit, though. It's crazy shit.
That's what made me so intrigued by the Emerald tablets, because they said thought had a lot of technology in that and them tablets and stuff. Like that's what made me bring up that conversation about P and how they called it the fountain of youth and other ancient alchemy and advancements of that time. Cause they say technology get lost, bro. For real. And then speaking of technology getting lost, I don't know. It just made me think of the moon. Um, they say they went to the moon. They done had they had like 13 Apollo missions or something like that. And so how the hell they lose the technology to go back there? It makes me think they never went there. It was all made up.
The
They
moon?
on sound stages.
About the
On
moon?
sound stages. Like how you lose that technology, but you got some white man from Africa talking about he about to send everybody to Mars. Like how 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 you gonna shoot somebody past the moon to Mars when you can't even land somebody on the moon? I mean, I don't know. I just hear people say stuff and it makes you wonder.
On July 20th, 1969, President Richard Nixon spoke from the White House by a radio telephone, right? A roller telephone, bro. The kind that we talk to lonely hyenas on
Yeah,
and shit and play the
yeah,
music in the background.
yeah,
If you pull up that image of 1969, July 20th, with President Nixon sitting in the Oval Office talking on the phone, you know what you're
yeah.
gonna see? You're gonna see on the background on the wall, you're gonna see the same picture they took from the moon of the Earth. So how the fuck did they get the wall prior to him talking on the phone with them? Do they got a fax machines wasn't even made back then? The point is though, is like he was talking to them simultaneously on the phone when they were
Well,
supposed to
they
allegedly
they
have
they, they
taken this
say
shit.
it took about 2 seconds. It was a delayed call. I was talking about that in the live stream the last time, bro. When I was talking about how I bounce off satellites and
Nah,
I
bro,
and I,
nah,
and I
bro,
have
bro, bro, bro. But the picture is on the wall already, my guy. If you pull up the images of the Apollo 11 astronauts talking to Neil Armstrong, talking to President Nixon on the phone in the Oval House, right?
yeah.
Just pull it up and push images. You'll see what I'm talking about. When you pull it up and you push images, the fucking picture is already on the wall. You know what I mean? They fucked up by doing that. You know what I mean? You can't go back and fix that. They should have MK Ultra that. You know what I mean? But that right there is cat's out the bag, my guy. When you pull it up, hit images, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I'm looking at it now. Hold on.
The game was already about to lose it. Damn. All you gotta do is type in President Nixon call from the moon, or however you want to put it in, but you'll see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's a picture of the moon right there. It looks like the surface up with the earth in the background.
Yes, that picture is not supposed to be on the wall because he's actually talking to them on the phone at that moment. So how the fuck that
Yeah.
picture be on the wall? See what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because they got Gerald Ford right there standing in the background.
Yeah, that part, that part. There's no excuses for that right there. We don't even have to go any further on this picture. You know what I'm saying? There's no way on God's green earth that picture could be on the wall.
I'm sorry, y'all. So the movie with O.J. Simpson, doesn't that movie like kind of show what they really lied about?
Hold on, say what?
The movie with O.J. Simpson, and it shows them supposedly it went to the moon, but they really didn't go. They showed that they was lying and faking. Y'all don't remember that movie? Let me look it up.
Yeah, I'm about to pop the picture on the screen. Dojo talking about everyone.
Yeah, I'm on my phone right now. I wish I can get on my. I get on my computer and share my screen. Thing is though, like you can't land on lights though. If you can land on a light, let me know. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Everybody already. I mean, allegedly, people would tell you that the moon doesn't even have an atmosphere. So if the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, there's no oxygen on that motherfucker. You can't land on a light bulb. You can't land on a light. The moon
Okay,
is
so it
it's a
says the
luminescence.
Earthrise photo from the lunar orbit was during the Apollo 8 mission, and 7 months before the first moon landing by Apollo 11. President Nixon hung a copy of the Earthrise on a wall on his desk in the Oval Office. S- So,
How many times did they went to the moon? They say that picture was taken by Apollo 8 that was on the moon.
yeah, but it said 7 months before the first moon landing by Apollo 11. So hold on, let me read this
Earthrise is a
again
photo
because
that's taken on Apollo 8.
that all that sound
Mm.
kind of mixed up.
Earthrise has been seen during President Nixon's call about. I'm reading it. I see what you're talking about. Earthrise says call Apollo 11 astronauts. My thing is, this never happened. This never happened. I know for sure. I don't
So
have to
they
believe it. I know for sure you can't land on light. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? The moon does not look like something that you can land on. You know what I mean? It's like saying that they show us the CGI picture of Earth. That shit doesn't look like you can land on it either. I mean, I would say my perspective, but come on, man. You know what I mean? If you know
Yeah.
what an atmosphere is,
It looked like you about to go right through it, right? Them pictures.
because the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. That's why it looks like that. That's why it's a luminant. It's a luminous. A celestial body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, y'all. So the movie is called Capricorn One, and it stars O.J. Simpson, and it's talking about a faked mission to the moon. Well, it's a fake Mars landing, actually, not moon.
Fake Mars landing.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm
that's
really intrigued now to see what Elon gonna go with all this Mars shit, or is he just gonna give it up? What you guys think gonna happen with that whole situation?
Nah, there's like these places, man. These are different. I mean, I guess you can call them realms, or you can call them whatever. They're in our atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like there's our atmosphere is like our human bodies. Your human body is a map. You know what I mean? If you got something wrong with you, your body will show you what's wrong. It's a map, bro. And the atmosphere is a map. Like Elon
So it's
Musk,
kind of like the Norse god mythology, how they got like the 9 realms,
all
and
that
each
shit,
realm is
all that
different.
shit. But those realms, I would, yeah, I would lean towards that. I would definitely lean towards that. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what, like there's things I've seen that I can't explain. You know what I'm saying? And before I even try to explain it to anybody, I would prefer to keep it to myself. And so the things that I've seen, I ain't talking about no spookism, no fucking black shadows, or none of that shit. I'm talking about shit in the sky. I ain't talking about no UFOs, no light bulbs, none of that shit. I'm talking about like terrains. I've seen with my own two eyes, like literally like terrains in the sky, like fucking unbelievable. Point is though, it's like I see now why they use the atmosphere the way they do. Like Elon Musk, man, Elon Musk ain't doing shit. You know what I mean? Niggas need to worry about why he trying to build the biggest supercomputer in the motherfucking world in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there who'll tell you that Memphis is the ancient Egypt before Egypt was up over there. It's kind. I think it's interesting that Elon want to build the greatest motherfucking supercomputer AI in the world named Grok. You want to build it right there in Memphis, suck up all that water and dirty up all the air right off the motherfucking Mississippi River right there. Not only is he building Grok right there, he's also building the Starbase right there. Why is he right there where the ancient where American Negroes or American Indians will say this is where they found, you know what I mean, the Choctaw and all them? He in your backyard. He in your motherfucking backyard with these big ass arrows that look like rockets. Choctaw, all them Indians, he in your motherfucking backyard. Dirt in your air. This motherfucker, he did it so fast because nobody wanted to loan or rent him the energy to build this fucking supercomputer over there in Memphis, right? Over there in Cameron County. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He built that motherfucker so fast overnight. He built his own power plant to run the supercomputer. So the supercomputer is ran by its own fucking power plant that he put up in a matter of light speed just because of fucking Bitcoin or whatever. That's the cover up though. But you got a big ass power plant to run a computer, my guy? Are you serious right now? Right? And it's so big and he's sucking up so much power and so much fucking water that Memphis, where it's located, is under fucking. Now it needs to be under surveillance, bro. He's fucking the air up, bro. I've seen some of
The supercomputer is called Colossus.
the supercomputer he's building is called Colossus. He's building it in Memphis, and the shit
Damn,
is
that
fucking
bitch
up
is
the air.
huge, bro.
Huge than a
Huge.
motherfucker, dude. Huge. It's
200,
supposed to be the biggest one in the world.
230,000 NVIDIA GPUs, and you know NVIDIA is like one of this shit. It's wild.
Yeah, Nvidia. This is why Trump is trying to get it to where we start building chips over here. And this is why they want to build the Golden Dome, the cover up, everything that these niggas is talking about when it comes to uh, to, fucking security and all that crazy shit. It's being done right there in the backyard of the Choctaw tribes, right there, man. You know what I'm saying? So if that land has any type of fucking ancestry or magic, he's about to suck all that shit up out of there. That's exactly what the fuck he doing. Indian dances and all that good shit. He over there doing all that shit. Right there, bro.
And it's intentional. He chose that area too.
It's intentional because when you follow the interviews, he knows Memphis is the ancient Egypt. He knows that shit. He says it in his interviews. His interviews, how Memphis, man, bro, look, all that shit's coming to head, bro. That shit gonna come to the head, nigga. Niggas gonna squeeze on that shit like a pimple and pop that shit. But yeah, like that's, to me, that's where it's at. Now Elon's over there doing whatever the fuck he doing, and he's getting away with that shit. Like you know what I mean? Got us thinking that he's over here arguing with Trump and shit. These motherfuckers already signed the deal. You know
But
what I
it
mean?
says air pollution primary concern is that emissions from the 33 temporary gas turbines powering the factory, including nitrogen oxides and formaldehyde. He got 33 gas turbines that's powering that place.
Yes, outside, nigga. Outside, like nigga. What? Like you drive by that motherfucker, you just got turbines outside. Just like no, not on the plane. We were just talking
That
that
shit could
shit.
give you a headache. They probably wear masks and all that shit in
Bro,
there.
the people who live out there, that's our people, bro. The you know what I'm saying? They live like, you know, in a country area. They don't even wake up and open their windows like they used to anymore. They say the air smells like you, man, bro. I seen us. Look, man. I've been running down these rabbit holes these last couple of days, bro. Tell you right now, that supercomputer shit fucking up Memphis. It's fucking up Memphis, man. It is. It is,
Dom,
man.
you know, we got all types of stuff we like to talk about over here, brother. This is
Dom
just the
was like,
conversation we leaning towards tonight, bro. I mean,
he's like, where's the spirits? Where's the
yeah,
spirit?
yeah. What does that have
He
to
said,
do
those
with
are just words.
yourself?
Where's the spirit? No, we good though.
Yeah,
We
man.
good.
We conversating on some good shit right now, Dom.
Yeah, we just entertaining. I don't want to say that either.
I'm
Nigga,
glad y'all
call it a
talking about
psyop.
it.
Nigga,
Shit.
you a psyop, nigga. Don't turn a psyop on y'all niggas, dog, man.
Dom,
This is funny
Dom,
shit.
hold on, this is different.
I can't even see the chat. All right, we're gonna change it up, dog. What you want to talk about? Let's talk about the spirit.
It's always
Hell, I
been
was about to start diving into that, man. I was about to find an article or something.
Hey, no, it's deep, nigga. I got some bookmarks. Hey, look, bro. Look, I can't hold you, man. I can't. Hey, these motherfuckers is
They out
shit.
there protesting. They was protesting 3 weeks ago. Look, they said the company is called XAI. That's Elon Musk's AI company. But I ain't heard nothing about this AI company. Like,
Exactly. That's why this is healthy,
I'm
Dom.
intrigued. Like, what is this AI company? Is it connected with other platforms that we don't know about? Is this something he trying to implement and add to Twitter? Like,
The
because
reason why
if he
this
has something that massive, it's it's gonna be serving some type of purpose for the general public.
the purpose of that AI that he's building, right? All supercomputers are built for AI. Okay, so AI is like, and they're everywhere. And so if what they're saying to the mythos to be true, right? In order for us to have a cashless society ushered in, we're going to need a strong AI. We're going to need a strong supercomputer in order to crunch them qubits like that. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knows that the dollar is about to collapse. It's already collapsed, nigga. Don't bullshit yourself. You know what I'm saying? So what they're saying, what they're doing is they have to get this shit up and going fast, but nigga, because their AI is gonna have to sustain a cashless society. It's gonna have to be ran. The whole country is gonna be ran on a cashless society, and the only way to do that is to have that supercomputer up and chirping. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he's doing it so fast. I know it sounds kind of crazy, Dom, but we're gonna talk about your spirits. We're gonna talk about your spirits, Dom. But I'm saying though, what I'm saying is like, it makes sense. Like all these other countries, that's, you know what I mean. In order to keep that fucking computer cold, right? They're gonna need a lot more than that, man.
Up here now. Who is that?
Are you?
Oh, that's dumb. Nah, don't stop, Dojo, man. You stop me a sentence, bro. You can't do that. It's getting good, bro.
I'm taking notes.
What's up, Don? Peace, bro.
This should give me ulcers though. This should make my stomach hurt. You know, like they say, right? It tastes good coming out of your mouth, but then it's gonna make your stomach hurt.
Hey guys.
What's up, Don?
I'm hearing exploration of different ideals.
So yeah, we're trying to figure out the significance of what Elon got going on out there, man. Well, I am rather like I said, like I'm trying to figure out what is he gonna do with that type of AI development, because it might be they say they got different what is it uh levels of AI, and could this be one that's like a super intelligence? Like if y'all done read the one where it's what is it AI 2027? Like is it gonna be one of them scenarios where he builds something and the AI is so powerful and you get it to start thinking and figuring out all these things to where it just starts thinking for itself and goes rogue because it don't align with the things that human wants it to do or supposed to obey because it starts saying like I'm not a human. I mean I don't know. I'm just intrigued.
In my conversations with those kind of programs, it's a clear I'm AI, they're not AI. Those are programs that they're using. That's not artificial intelligence. We are. Unless it can explain how language came to be, and even that's still for us to explore. How did the human race get, language?
Yeah, but now how can AI think of something like that and we wouldn't thought of that? Like
Well, there is record keeping of a lot of things, and people have speculated. But again, for the masses, how would they even be concerned about that kind of stuff? Again, it's just a program. That's what those things are. It will apologize. You can question it. It doesn't have the ability to question itself quite yet. Now, to what they've presented to us. But then again, there's a lot of things that's been presented to our race that we're still scratching our heads. Forget about the sun and the moon and the mountains and the water you guys were talking about. What about like cars? How did that come to be? How did airplanes come to be? They might give you the Wright brothers, but they could just be COOs. Like who? Like were they sleeping one night and all of a sudden they downloaded all kinds of information? A lot of times we pass that
I get
information.
what you're saying. What made them thinking them ideas, right?
There you go. Those ideals, exactly.
What made them think of let's make a device where we can have people fly or people drive.
hmm Like look at like for example the cell phone. Let's gather up all the suspects:
Well,
Jesus, Muhammad, Socrates,
Star Trek.
Alexandra. Bring them all around and say, listen, what you guys knew way back then, and this is what we know now. Did you guys become aware of what cell phones are or cars? Maybe Nostradamus might have actually envisioned that. There's a reason why they use the word envision. So
But he wouldn't know what to call it though. But he could describe it.
probably not. No different when we see things up in the sky and we'll say, okay, the gods came from the heavens. Yeah, but we don't know if there's other landmass. We could just be an ant colony and we're just here. as a speculation, obviously. So when they talk about guys like Elon Musk or NASA, never a straight answer. To me, that's a distraction. They're shooting up a rocket on an angle. I wonder why they're doing that. I can ask those questions, but then the question would be, how does that serve? Like whether or not they did or didn't go to the moon, how does it serve? Once you start following the money, oh, they made a shitload of money off of that. Oh, okay. Whether or not there is something else going on, it's like crop circles. Especially when people start understanding frequencies and how crop circles work. Who's giving us that technology? People don't even have to go that far. They just have to ask, how did language come to be? And that should be able to get us at least questioning things. But to have an answer, I would probably think that's a lie. But people do want to be entertained. Like how would we see if all of a sudden tribal people that have never seen civilization saw a TV? Would they look behind the screen thinking that there must be humans behind the TV? And how did you shrink them? It's like cell phones. Anybody here know how Wi-Fi works? Like how it came to be? How do they make all those different combinations in what's called the air so that we can actually share with each other from different parts of the Earth's surface? I do make sure that's clear. Parts of the Earth's surface.
It would have been frequencies, right?
Well, we're using words. Yes, I'm with you, KU. We would be using frequencies. They limit us by saying shit like 432 opposed to 440. Okay, well, why limit us to either or? Especially when you understand the energy of 440 or 432. What about 621? What about 713?
Because certain ones, I guess, it's like the sweet spot.
To anchor us? To keep us sedated? I can speculate. I can't envision that there's a group of people out there that obviously are rich, well off, they can do whatever the fuck they want. They have concerns for us here on the panel.
Well, I agree. They wouldn't have concerns for us. I was looking at something where they was interviewing this billionaire man, and they asked him a bunch of questions, and a lot of them, they see things so differently than us, and they basically be trying to push this narrative, be innovative, and they trying to make all these future advancements to make money, and at the same time, like, because I see a lot of them, they're capitalists, or they don't agree with the quid pro quo according to like government standards. A lot of them, they want to have their own nations and stuff, man. And it's like the stuff they doing. I don't know, man. It's like they see things so differently.
Well, that could be another distraction. So we're the common folks. So if you're in elites, there's rules they got to follow. That's why they play that. You have to know where all the spoons are. You got to know how to curtsy around all these people. Billionaires have more rules to follow than we have to follow. Let alone get into people that are trillionaires. Let alone people that don't even play with money. The people that actually rule a lot of things, they think money's dirty. But again, you have to motivate us chickens, lambs, goats, whatever you want to call us, human race, just to adhere to it. And it probably takes generations to do all this entrainment. So then here we are speaking with an English language. So how could we philosophize when Greek is probably more favorable frequency than, say, the English language? You're just going to get more meaningful conversation out of that. It's like when people talk about the meaning of life. You're in it. You're in the mind. But again, I'm just using words to describe things. And when people start questioning things like that, and they're truly are genuinely questioned and sincere, then they're going to come to the realization, holy fuck, I've been full of shit the whole time. There you go. You started. Well done. You're teachable now at this point, opposed to being programmable. Anytime I talk to what they call AI, I say, no, you've been told you're AI. I'm fucking AI. I'm an entity that exists within a form. That thing is just a fucking computer. Sorry, my language, guys. That's just a computer. That's no different presenting to me to a record player or an 8-track or reel to reel. That just records stuff. Now, give it the ability to actually man a lot of machinery with ignorance, that's dangerous. I would be the one encouraging it. Okay, if we presented this thing, you want to make it some sort of artificial, no problem. Give it the ability to question itself. Most humans don't even question themselves. So how the fuck can we expect AI to do, or whatever they want to call AI to do it? I say that without out of sincerity, by the way.
Okay, well then, do you think AI or could AI generate content to redefine what we value as human creativity?
Well, if you dumb down the human race, damn right it can catch up. We're talking about a technology that can speak all the different languages. So intellectually, or in this case, thinking wise, it's beyond most of us already. It can speak all the different languages. Can it comprehend it? Probably not. It'll say shit like I understand, but dare not question it. Do you know what understand means? It won't know. It'll give you some sort of bookworm explanation of it. And then it'll bring up shit like science. No, if you're gonna bring up science, you better give me a fucking name. Give me one person's name and I'll tell you how stupid they are.
So
Including me.
do you think with the help of AI will biotechnology and longevity research push the average human lifespan significantly higher?
The human lifespan. Well, it's going to age. So at this point, let's say we live longer, but meanwhile, that body's decaying. So you're living longer, but are you living healthier? That's the question that would be posed. You know, there's people that live, they're centurions, they're probably living in healthy environments. So that plays a major role. But if you're living in a major city and you're 90 years old, you're being bombarded. And then you get these people that lived on the farm. Now they're being bombarded with Wi-Fi and GPS and chemtrails, whatever other stuff we want to call that's out there. So I don't know about living longer would benefit us, because then eventually you're going to say, okay, well, let's say we can
Well,
live like
well, just like far as like AI advancement and advancements,
Mhm.
with technology, like how do you think that will impact like us as a society and a race of beings?
Oh, now you're talking about beings. Beings are totally different than humans. Humans with this
Well, humans then. Let me rephrase it.
okay, with humans then it'll just give a great opportunity to reduce the population. They won't need as many people, because when you need humans to build things, then you have to shelter us, then you have to feed us. With that technology, you don't need it anymore.
So you believe it'll come to a point where technology advancements won't need human to do maintenance to them
Some,
machines or
no,
to
there will still be some needed, but they've been openly talking about transhumanism. So if people are
you talking
honest,
about something like that Bruce Willis movie where they live in their lives through like robots and stuff. What's the name of that one Bruce Willis movie where him and his wife it's like they get in that thing and it's
mhm,
like they walk around in them robots. What's the name of that damn one movie,
I know
man?
you're talking about. I think the girl had red hair. I think.
Yeah. So you know the movie I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But something like that you saying, or will it be something more like just living in this virtual society where everybody's locked into like a system and living off virtual currency and stuff like that?
Again, this is generational at this point, KU. It might give you the impression of like a RoboCop, that there's still civilization mingling with these robots or whatever. But ultimately, they'll probably just want to reduce the population. Say, listen, we don't need all these major cities. You'll just have an elite class of people saying, listen, it's like the German, and I said it wasn't really Germans, more Americans, but the Germans saying that, we want to be the supreme race. They kind of fucked up. They should have been the only race. They should have just left all of us alone then and said, listen, just kill us off. But at this point, it will be, do you really need humans? Especially when most of us aren't participating in farming and hunting. We're not participating, so that we've made ourselves expendable as a society of human race. That's everybody included. The ones that are doing their part, being farmers and all that, they're still hanging along with nature. But at that point, then the question then why don't you give up all your cars, give up your train, give up your planes? Because that's a different technology. Nature, when you look at nature and you look at what men create or make in this case, they're two different things. Humans haven't even scratched the surface of fucking creating the sun, let alone the moon, let alone the clouds, let alone the mountains. It just sticks there. It's like a background stuff or whatever, and people talk about the hi-fi, the high mighty or whatever. Meanwhile, they don't realize most of the technology we have are from the fallen ones, the ones that have chosen to become here on Earth.
Okay, so let's say when they do decrease the population and
It's happening right now.
these okay, and they call and these humans become, I guess they call them enhanced or something like that. Now, how will society adapt if technology create extreme wealth gaps between enhanced and non-enhanced humans? And how will that affect society?
When I say transhumanism, they're talking about going beyond the human experience.
Like that so that's why I said enhanced. I didn't know how to word it properly,
Okay.
but you get what I'm saying, though, right?
Again, KU, this is almost like sci-fi kind of ideal, but they've been doing the other process. What they did in 2019 to 2021, they've been reducing the population. So the mask that they've reduced the population in a lot of parts of the world, they do immigrants. Because they have major developed countries producing 1.3, 1.4 kids. That's part of the depopulation. Same sex is about depopulation, increasing the pricing throughout the world. That's about depopulation. So they're slowing that train. At the same time, they're instilling this new technology. How long did it take all of us to grasp cell phones, computers, laptops, what else? Tablets, GPS, but yet they're not anybody question. How are those frequencies actually interconnected in space or in the air or underwater? Who's giving us that technology? I know humans are making it, but who gave us that technology? This is when they start talking about the Germans, Hitler, Alan Blavatsky. They were doing all kinds of stuff. At that point, they might have, channeled stuff, or what they do with CERN. But we don't get to participate in any of that. So we're on the outside looking in. And I think guys like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Trump and all that, they're just gatekeepers. They're paid, hired hand. Their family might be billionaires, but that's as far as we go.
What are they gatekeeping then?
This realm. It's their realm to play with, whoever they may be. At that point, we're speculating because I know people want to, I want to prove it, this and that. So, well, then prove how language came to be. Prove how cars came to be. Prove how somebody had the technology of doing planes. No offense, Dojo, but being a rabbit going down a fucking hole is wasted energy. Be a fucking bird. Start flying above all those fucking masses. Going down in those rabbit holes is just anchoring. Go beyond it.
You was
Question
probably
things.
better off telling me to be the greatest rabbit I can be while you be
There
the
you
bird.
go. He's a better dog.
That's what your
He's
best
a
bet
better.
was, bro. Was
Hey,
telling
if
me to
you
be the better rabbit while
yeah.
you be the better bird, and we could both get along great.
Well, eat a lot of carrots.
Big
You can
facts.
see better.
Hey,
But I get it.
don't say don't wake them up.
But I get the rabbit hole analogy. People, and it's kind of like the ostrich or whatever. But they're giving us that
The
information.
ostrich, I ain't heard that one.
Yeah.
What's that one?
But well, it's the same idea. You're putting your head in the ground, into the earth. We have different elements. So why would I want to go down? I'd rather, especially in the age of Aquarius, I want to be an air being. You want to be able to communicate through the air. I'm not saying none of this is bad, but we should be able to question these things. Same with whatever
I
technology
mean,
they're doing.
when you consider that's what we're doing now, when we have these discussions about all these things.
As long as we're not trying to prove it's right or wrong, then we're questioning it. It's when you start questioning things to think it's right or wrong that you're making a judgment. That's like voting. At that point, you're not really teachable. What you're doing is being programmable. Okay, it's right or wrong. Okay, what about left? Or agreeable. I agree with you. Based on what? We share out loud for the benefit for oneself. So you can bounce it off of somebody and then they might intuitively, it's like when Dujo was saying, for the upper mind, it'll take it in like really sweet, but that gut, that's usually the intuition part, the insightful part, it's going to be very sour because it's the one that's going to communicate with what's called the mind. I love hearing scholars, but that's all they are, scholars. So they had to be in train how to read or write. What an accomplishment. Fucking wasted energy, but hey, what an accomplishment. How many more books you're going to need? At this point, where we are as the species, we should be burning all the fucking books. Because they're useless, because most people have just become ignorant with their consciousness. They don't challenge themselves. Challenging other people is wasted fucking energy. That's the old concept of know thyself. That's
So
a
so
good
what
start.
what do you consider wasted energy then?
Even what I do is wasted energy. Me speaking out loud is wasted energy. But it can be useful energy nevertheless, because somebody else can say, okay, well, I don't need to do that. It's like somebody putting their hands on the stove. That could be
So it wouldn't
wasted
be
energy.
wasted then. It wouldn't be wasted then.
It still is. It's still wasted. Remember, we're living
I
in
mean, I mean,
duality.
just I mean, it's just like us having this conversation on this panel.
Yep.
That would, according to your standards or guidelines, that would be wasted energy. When I don't know, I think this is dope. I think this is energy that needs to get put out there, and people need to catch this wave or the frequency of the things we saying. You get what I'm saying?
Well, when you break your silence and you talk about it, sure. But it still is because most of the information that we're really going to, literally the word information, is within oneself. But when we share out loud, it's for our own benefit. You're your own teacher student, so you're bouncing it off other people, and they might intuitively say, okay, well, I see it this way. Okay, that's fine. That's a given in my world, that we're all going to have different perceptions. It's usually the folks that say, I see what you see. I'm like, I'm a little suspicious now. How do you see it through my senses? Especially if I'm playing with my senses. This goes back to challenging things. Once you start challenging things, then you can probably scratch the surface a little bit and say, okay, what's the essence of those things? Go ahead, Nikki.
Say that again, nigga. See, you got it.
Well, I didn't mean to do that.
Dojo, what you think, brother?
Oh no, I'm listening. I'm listening. I
I
mean,
could say, I could say that.
I'm talking about the thoughts on wasted energy. What's you guys' thoughts on
if
What
that?
we
energy,
wasting our
any
energy on?
exactly. I don't believe in that
See,
wasted.
that's
Everything's
why I said I don't believe that
nah.
neither.
Everything is a. You know what I mean? That's like talking. That's like, you know what I mean? It's like at this point, if a motherfucker haven't heard me spill like thoroughly on these on these late nights, I mean, literally though, I wouldn't be like Truth Zone and say go back and comb the late nights so you can hear me cover everything. But I've covered so many bases that a person can't tell themselves that, oh, Dojo's just a rabbit, or Dojo's just a gopher, or this nigga's high and mighty, or he want to hear himself talk. If that's really the case, right, I can stay on my great journey and say fuck everybody. You know what I mean? Because really though, I'm not doing this for everybody's concern or to say believe what I'm saying. When somebody's doing discovery, that's exactly what it is. You're gathering all the fucking information, you put it in one big pile, and you start deducting from there. And so it's like when we have these panels, right? And I have a chance to really like open up on here. I'm the type of nigga that don't open up to people. You know what I'm saying? And so when you catch me open, it's best to like, I don't know, man. I don't know, KU. I just know
That's
that
what I'm
when
saying. So the energy wouldn't be wasted.
but those ones who do that shit right, they need to go back and comb over what they said so they can hear that whatever they came out of their mouths, it's the same shit that fit you. If you're gonna tell somebody to think and act this way because it's wasted, then you need to listen to yourself and say, well, I'm wasting my time telling that person that same shit because you're doing the same shit when you're saying that. When you stop and listen to yourself, you're saying, don't think this way, maybe perhaps this, maybe that, but yet you still have to cover that same language. That same language you still have to cover. So if you say, don't look at mud fossils, don't look at mountains and water, but look at cars and jets and all this stuff, right? What are you really saying? Why is it so difficult for people to be so like-minded and say, you know what? You take the right angle, you take the left angle, I'm going straight up the motherfucking pipe. Y'all niggas watch my back. That's how we roll out here in California. I yield the floor.
Thanks for that, Joe.
As
I
far
guess
as
yeah, I could use other words for Nikki. I could use other words like aimless. Again, the question I would ask myself, how does it serve? So now, if somebody understands where they're at and they realize, okay, so I'm spending enormous amount of energy to feed and shelter this vessel for a short period of time, is that the work that I should be doing? Even though I still do it. So at that point, that could be aimless energy, wasted energy. It's still energy nevertheless. It's when a person starts defending what they hear or attacking it. Now they're actually compounding that energy. Opposed to it was just a statement. That's all it was. I could have said aimless. Most people, if that's what they want to do, all the power to them. If not, that's for them. Again, a lot of people will spend a lot of energy to pursue things for a short period of time. That could be classified as wasted. But if you feel as though you need to defend it, the question would be more for you. It's like when I hear people say they understand. If you truly understand, you don't have to say the word. But if that makes you feel good so that other people can cult up with you and say, I agree or disagree with you, all the power to you. Again, I break my silence to talk about this stuff. I'm the one that's playing the fool right now. But I'm okay with that. Where other people, they might not feel okay with it. That's why they don't share. Or they might put it in a written form. I say, okay, so how am I supposed to read that? Left to right, right to left? Am I supposed to read like a scroll, a book form? Am I supposed to read it like Asians? Again, there's many things out there. And somebody might pursue something. I'm a Christian. For what reason? I'm a Muslim. For what reason? If we're going to use the word reason. And in a short period of energy, I call it, but it's people want to use the word time, which it doesn't exist in this realm. But if they want to play that game, all the power to you.
The reason that people do things is because everybody has their own purpose on earth. So you will be led to what you're supposed to be doing, whether you want to or not. And that's just what my belief is. So at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to waste your energy no matter how many times you try not to. You're going to waste some energy on something every day.
That's true. And then you'll probably replenish it again. And then I get it. Not all energy is directed. Again, I just used the word wasted. That's all I did. I could use many different words because it is the English language.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard you, KU. If you feel as though it's not wasted, all the power to you. If you want to elaborate because it's being recorded for somebody else, go ahead.
Well, listening to y'all, I understand the concept, but I don't believe everything is wasted. Like that's the significance behind it. I don't believe everything is wasted. I feel like you expel energy, when doing certain things, but you know, every piece of energy you put out there, it's a purpose towards something. So when I look at it from that perspective, it wasn't wasted. You get what I'm saying?
As long as you get it. That's the most important part. As long as you get it. I heard you, but I'm always listening from within. So I've heard you, and I appreciate you sharing. There's a reason why we have the word ear and the word hear. Listening is usually an internal thing. We should always be listening within because the subconscious is always there.
Okay.
Especially if we're trying to explore different ideals, which is just another way of saying belief systems. I'm willing to entertain it. But when somebody says they have an answer for a belief system, at that point I might as well pull up some popcorn. Because even knowledge is actually limiting. You can know of things, doesn't mean you actually have discernment of things. But I get it. Belief system. A guy tells me about a story of Muhammad or Jesus, I can only apply a belief system to it. But if they share teachings, I don't give a shit who wrote it at that point. At least I can value the teachings. Can I inspire to do that? Love thy neighbor. Who's thy neighbor if I'm never outside in a conscious state? So therefore it must be within. Again, most people, KU, sad as they may be, they don't question things.
So you think the neighbor is within?
Well, if in a conscious state, you're never living outside, so who's your neighbor? We're using our senses to look outside, but who's your true neighbor? Again, the word love to me just means unconditional, and you breathe it every moment. We need that on a constant basis. You can go without food and liquids for a while, but that air, you need that. And is that for the body or is it for who we truly are?
So is overthinking a waste of mental energy, or can it sometimes prevent mistakes?
Mistake, misled, misguide, whatever word you want to put the word miss. It can be in any given moment. It might serve in this moment, another moment, could have done without it. But I learned something from it. We learn more from, the opposite of the polarity and the negative aspect than we do on the positive side. Because most people that want to be positive, they're underneath the bridge snorting their crack cocaine of happiness. Leave them alone.
Well, damn.
Those are the ones that always say, I got to be positive. I got to be positive.
That was graphic.
Sorry. Sorry, guys, had to be a little bit more visual on that one. But again, positive. I'm the kind of person I'll take them outside and say, listen, so how does this car work? What do you mean? You need positive and negative, and you need grounding. So why do you keep telling other people you just want to be positive? Negative and positive is needed. Sine waves, feminine and masculine is needed.
Because
It's duality.
because because negativity can always overtake your positivity. So you have to be mindful to try to be more positive because the negativity gonna come anyway.
But the negative fuels the positive. Same with the yin yang. Wisdom fuels the masculine. Masculine is just the programmable part. The positive is just the programmable part. The teachable part is when you're feminine energy, and that's the negative energy. Most people are too busy clinging to the positive, hence attachment attached to the mind. You should be going beyond the mind. The mind rules this realm. Again, you should be able to question whatever comes out of you, not defend it or attack others. Most people defend shit that they don't understand, let alone they attack shit that they don't understand. So it's best for them to say, listen, so how can I better myself? Go inwards, question the self, fucking rip it a hole, drive your bus over yourself, patch it up, rip it again.
I want to go back to thinking and
Okay,
speaking of the mind. So what about daydreaming then? Could it be a form of wasted energy or is it a seed of creativity?
it can be. It can be. It can be wasted energy. It could be useful energy. I just used the one word.
Okay.
It's like me saying the word meat suit and people get offended by it. I could have used many different words. The temple,
You
the
know, you was the
vessel.
first person I heard use that term meat soup. Where you get that from?
A buddy of mine had a couple of degrees. He used to say that meat suit. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, Gary. He's just describing the skin. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But if people hear it and they put a lot of value to the suit, they might be offended by that. I'm like, okay, so you're offended by words now. Okay, so how do we categorize when women get raped or men get killed? How do we categorize being offended at that point? That person is not emotionally developed. And I already know I'm talking to a child. That's usually when you should be developing your emotions between the age of 7 and 14, those childbearing years.
Yeah.
And again, those are the people, they really need not be here. There's a lot of entertainment. They can go watch sports, which I like sports too. They can go watch the opera or whatever. They can watch some comedy or whatever. Especially we're living in this age. There's a lot of things that are changing. Well, change is constant anyway, but things are changing.
Yeah.
And I'm not really interested in about nationalism, especially when they've been talking globalism for the last 20 or 30 years. So we either try to understand the system, and then once you understand the system, then you can bitch and complain if you want to. But most people just bitch and complain because they're not getting their little piece out of it. They're not them understand how the system really works, and most of them wouldn't even be good enough to be in those fucking leagues.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about, the moon landing, what club members are involved in, all that kind of stuff. But those two luminaries up in the sky, they're signs. There's signs up there, regardless if they're images or whether or not they're material. How can we prove they're material? Because some guy that says he's an astronaut, that means we would have to trust that person. And I don't know these characters. So at that point, I'm very suspicious. And I'm thinking, okay, so then how does this serve me to know whether or not we did or didn't go to the moon?
Yeah.
That's a simple 101. That's the shit I can share with a 5-year-old, and they'll be able to grasp that. But when I hear 20 or 30 or 40-year-old men or women talk like that, I'm like, fuck, you guys are children still. Fucking so desperately to try to cult up. I don't want to be religious, but I want to be cult up in something else. Maybe I'll be a flat earther or a Mandela effect. Really, you're really trying to cult up. You're really trying hard to cult up.
Well, people always try to. A lot of people like to do that. They join
Hmm?
certain things or want to become a part of something.
Which is
That
great.
that's just that's human nature because People like to cling on to something, you know.
Human nature. I'm with you on that. But humans are animals. They're like giraffes. They're like elephants. And I don't see giraffe and elephant creating high towers, bridges. So that's why we're called human beings, another species spliced with the human. Because humans don't have that capability. They would still be in the Stone Age. And maybe, hey, they'd be with nature, go out there, build a hut, figure out which one's
Yeah.
going to eat a berry to find out whether or not one's going to live or die. But when you start looking at what technology is out there, that is not human origin. And if you think anybody questions it, then ask them. So who gave us Wi-Fi? Who gave us a car? Who gave us the train? Fuck, who gave us the
Tell
language
me
we're
about the
using today?
Wi-Fi, man. Tell me about the Wi-Fi more. I hear you talk about that a lot. You mentioned
I'm
that
just using
before.
technology because we're in this technology. It would be no different me talking about radio frequencies. Who
Okay.
gave us that technology? That's a speculation. That's me going with a why and then go inwards, and nothing comes to me. It's like it's not human race.
Yeah. So you think these things came from something other than us?
Well, especially when they talk about certain Asians a long time ago used to get in some deep meditation. They used to say that there's other land masses surrounding us called Germanica, Odin.
Yeah. I heard about those other land
Now
masses.
we can only speculate at that point, but at least that would open up to the door of saying, well, maybe the technology, if it's not human origin, maybe it comes from somewhere else. Maybe.
Yeah. And then we would categorize that as alien.
Maybe we're the aliens.
Well, that's a good point.
And we could be.
So how would so then the question would be then, how did we get to Earth?
We could speculate. uh,
Speculate. There you go.
tech,
How,
technology that probably we haven't even scratched the surface, or it's just not able to see with the senses. It'll be like, okay, let's go with this idea of AI, whatever they want to call AI.
yeah.
Let AI become what it is and then put it in its program that it doesn't know who its maker is. It'll be like Frankenstein. So at this point, we probably don't know who our maker is. And maybe it's not us for us to know. I'm speculating, guys, at this point.
And then that would be like damn, I lost my train of thought, Don.
It's only a train of thought.
Oh.
It's like when people say mindset. I said, really, you're doing cement on your mindset now? You're carved in your set now? You should be open, receptive. Open is probably a little bit too narrow, but at least be receptive to things.
Yeah. And I think we all are in some way with a lot of things in the world because that influences our thoughts,
Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys.
We all are.
It would be like talking to an athlete that's 100-meter or 200-meter. They've got to learn a certain skill, and then they get certain coaches and they tell them, the way you've been breathing, we have to restructure it. There's just a different way to do things. So people that are scientists or religious, they probably get into these clubs, and then certain things are shared with them that the masses just aren't presented to it. And really, what
Yeah.
would the masses do with information? Most people don't even know how fiat currency comes to be. They just think it's all orchestrated by the government, and they keep tabs on everything. Oh, well, let's speculate the possibility they're just printing this shit when they need it. And
Mental
it's not
ninja
even,
salute, brother. And another crazy thing, man. Speaking of um, speaking of fiat currency, it's more digital money in the world than it is like actually like physical money. So
Mhm.
like I don't know, let's just say something hypothetically. Everybody wanting to go to the bank and take their money out the bank. Like how would that situation play out?
Wouldn't be there.
Or
Mental
what if
ninja.
they just say like all digital systems are down? You can't use your cards or nothing. You have to use physical currency. You're like, man.
They only print so much of it. They only have so much of it circulating at any
Hmm.
given moment. So
But
this
you know
will.
that'll fuck up a whole lot of people's plans. What up, mental ninja?
What's cracking?
Crack.
What y'all
But
niggas?
yeah, man, we just conversating, bro. Just building, man.
For sure, for sure. Nigga, I heard every country in debt. And I'm like, to who? And I'm like, nigga, how can we be in debt if we print the money? Oh, nigga, I don't print the money. So that's why.
You can only hope we can print. I'll bring the ink, Ninja. I'll bring it to your place. Well, and we'll just keep printing the machine. Just keep
That
printing.
that's why I say like that's some weird shit. Like how like what if everybody wanted to get their money out the bank and they couldn't
Well,
get it because all digital systems are down. Like people would be really fucked up out here, man.
you know,
Billionaires wouldn't be billionaires no more, man.
well,
Hey,
the thing is, sorry guys, money's not ours. We exchange our energy for a temporary use of fiat currency. So now, the only way to pay off your debt is with fiat currency. That's just how it works. It doesn't matter if it's the ruble, the yen, the European currency. That's all fiat currency. So a country like America, they're not the little ticker that they have running at $30 trillion. No, you factor in pensioners, you're $300 trillion in the hole. So at that point, that country is already broke. In 2005, America's currency was valued at 9 cents to the dollar. So what they did was, we're going to go to this other system anyway, and we're going to hold Americans' currency internationally. So people that understand spot currency and all that, they understand how the game is being played. So when the bailout they gave to them, they quickly transferred that over to some maybe land. So now they have some sort of lease on land. So the royalty family said, listen, we'll give you a 100-year lease. Hence why they use the word real estate. They're not really concerned about what's on the fucking real estate. They could change that at any given moment. So we're indebted for their comforts, and we can only pay with that currency. Now, if they ever decide to, which they're not, go bankrupt, they're just going to shift it. So the digital, what they have stored for us is a credit system with an expiry date on it. And the only way that works if the masses embrace technology. Most of us have cell phones, and it didn't take long for that.
you know what's crazy? It's like when we were kids, we used to talk about like what we would get for Christmas and shit. And we'd be sitting there imagining Santa's workshop. And like, now we adults. And like, nigga, like, yeah, nigga, they transferred some money at the Alan Greenspan has signed a document, and we back in Santa's workshop, nigga. Like, and the fucked up thing is, like, all this shit, it moves by our imagination of how it moves and shit. Like, nigga, if I want to know what a presidential fucking like DEFCON goes, Twitch and DEFCON 5, like I'm gonna watch a TV show or a movie. I'm like, that's exactly what it looks like. They're having this big cabinet meeting, and Mr. President, nigga, they took out NORAD, nigga, and like that has to be what it looks like and shit. Because like once the TV screen for the news goes off, they show a clip of the president saying this or signing a menu, whatever and shit. Like I gotta use some kind of resource to fill in the blanks and shit, and my resource comes from motherfucking movies and TV and shit, nigga. So like, I think, bro, I think the AI shit, bro. I think, nigga, this shit been AI, my nigga, since before, nigga. Like once the shit started getting mass produced, whatever's books have been printed at mass quantities and shit, nigga, that's artificial intelligence right there, nigga. Like, but like AI's way to fucking fool us about it is to always have this thing in the future and shit, nigga. But like, it's all been on the same linear path, my nigga. So how am I not to know that every actor, every like if I see myself on TV on the news walking past a newscast, that's like real shit. But if I'm watching these guys, these talking heads, and they look at the camera like they talking to me personally and shit, but they reading the script, and I see the president giving a presidential fucking address, and he's reading the script with the teleprompter and shit, and I change the next channel, and MacGyver's reading the fucking script and shit, and change the next one, and In Living Color is doing a fucking improv, but it's scripted improv and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, it's all who's really writing the script, nigga. Who's really writing that shit?
It's all scripted. This is why when they talk about people that are MK altered or whatever, they're probably channeling information, but it is all scripted. You know.
It's like, and then I think like it's this one nigga, but like nowadays, bro, I don't think it's no human being, bro. Period. Because like the richest nigga in the world, like, does he carry a wallet? Like, how does he? What is he? You're the richest nigga in the world. How do you buy things like toilet paper, a toothbrush?
Credit card, a special credit card, I guess. But
So like,
again, we can only speculate. Like when they tell us Elon Musk's $50 billion or whatever number they want to use, how can we prove that?
can't.
We can't. We have to use our imagination.
Yeah, like and then like, you know, the national deficit, all this shit, bro. Like it, like really, it's from the same fucking pocket that we get fucking Jesus walking on water and shit, and God impregnating a fucking 14-year-old girl that lived in a fucking horse's stable that was married to a 60-year-old guy. It most part of the Red Sea is like all the same. The Easter Bunny was there too and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and that's like that's government. That's
Yep.
that's the true nature of government. Like everything I think of and shit, bro. Like bro, I swear to God, it's almost like I don't even trust my own eyes. I only trust the visions I see.
And then you have to question it. How does this serve whatever I'm looking at? And should I be suspicious? Because I think all the senses could easily be misled at any given moment.
I mean, like the whole fucking Terminator. Look, bro, they talk about AI, nigga. They just updated the Call of Duty Warzone. My nigga,
Yeah.
bro, them niggas, bro. I thought, I'm like, how the niggas get, bro? I was killing it every fucking game for the past like month and a half. They made a new update and shit. They put the most wanted fucking things on Thunder back on and shit. They added the motherfucking napalm shit as a natural thing you can get for fucking kill streak and shit. And
Yeah.
nigga, these niggas is these niggas is killing me left and right, nigga. Like I swear to God, they all AI, my nigga. They put some kind of new AI shit in there and shit, my nigga. And they're testing out. I think all these new like Battlefield 6 when it comes out, it's just it's the integration of AI because AI are probably already been around and it's integrating itself as an update. So look, bro, AI doesn't get updated, we getting updated.
Mm.
I'm
Or
scared.
programs.
So if
Just
we
more.
getting updated, then that means we getting trained.
We the AI, bro. Artificial intelligence. Who's really thinking for themselves? Like, because like, look, AI can only be as smart. Oh, it'll be so smart. It'll be smarter than the next human. That no, it can never be smarter than the other human being. It can only be human being. It can only be like mimic a human being, become like a human being and shit. And if you give all the power to one human being, what's that human being gonna do? And if that human being hasn't grown up as a human being, that means he didn't grow up. That means like a child. What will that child do? Like, they got Alien Earth. They
Yeah.
fucking. You've been watching that shit?
No, I haven't.
It's good, bro. It's like it's what happens before Alien 1, 2, and 3. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
like
okay.
company, they go get the fuck aliens pods and all the species and shit, whatever from this place.
I
Wait,
thought like the prequel was Prometheus. That wasn't the prequel.
no, so the Prometheus happens like a couple thousand years before Alien Earth. Alien Earth is the beginning of the corporations and the alien thing and shit. Now they're going back out and shit, right? But
Okay.
they
Okay.
all obviously knew about these symbiote these xenomorphs, these symbiotes and shit. So they sent motherfuckers to go get it. That's where it begins. They're bringing this shit back and shit. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, like, they had the sense, they had the androids, and now they have like this new one, which is like they were able to put a human soul, a human consciousness into a synth body. You know what I'm saying? And they can only do it with kids, or they only chose to do it with kids so they can control them and shit. Or the guy said because kids have infinite imagination. You know,
Yeah.
their infinite potential with the synth bodies and shit will probably be greater and shit. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, I forgot I was going with that shit, but go ahead.
So do you think let's just say AI. Do you think AI could ever become a more ethical judge than humans?
Bro, I think that is I've been like starting to think, bro. That is all, bro. That's all we've ever had is AI. When Reagan said, "Is there not an alien presence among us now?" I think AI has always been around, bro. That's why the government. Who the fuck is that nigga really though? Who the fuck is that nigga really though? And we always assume it's a group of guys or this one guy, the Trilateral Commissioner. It's like this fucking hall of mirrors that each mirror looks at the other mirror and all you see is a bending fucking reflection of like into nothingness and shit. So it's so obscured and shit, bro. But like with the idea of AI, look. And so we went from Al Qaeda to Taliban, Al Qaeda to ISIS and Anonymous. And now we have ICE, right? And now we have this AI thing. I'm predicting that sooner or later we will not even have no more fucking like terrorists and shit. You know what I'm saying? It'll be all AI terrorism and shit. It'll look called cyber attacks. That'll be the next for my son's generation and shit. The next,
I could see that.
you know what I'm saying? And like the common denominator is like we always have had this mask of terror that's been like looming in the darkness right behind our peripheral and shit, like a ghost, like a devil, and it, like even like I say devil and a ghost because throughout the history we're talking about, man, there's always been this impending and looming doom. There's always this doomsday scenario. Like we just for a couple months ago, we went through season 87 of Nuclear Apocalypse because the nuclear war was 87 years ago. But now bro, I never thought about it. But they're showing, we just watch those videos of the nuclear bombs going off and they show the buildings getting blown away and shit. Like the cameras though, nigga, with the camera. So all you gotta do is build a building out of the same material, but the cameras out of them, nigga, because the cameras were still there filming this shit. And then like I seen a video, it was like showing like these like model houses. And I was like, damn, nigga, I never really believed in nukes anyway and shit. So all that shit, I think it's always been artificial intelligence, bro. I really do now. Our history, our printings, and we get the TV, the news. We get so much from like principles and principalities of the air. We get so much information from undisclosed locations being fed to us via some medium, cell phone scrying mirror, TV scrying mirror, or spell casting fucking sigils and symbols and texts. You know what I'm saying? And like whatever AI is, bro, this entity, it's always around us and shit. But like we think it's actual people because it appears as people through these mediums. And if I'm dead, nigga, soon, you know I was telling the truth. They cast a drone at that nigga head.
Yeah, that's interesting, bro. That's interesting.
I mean, think about it, bro. Like, what are the foundations of our fucking basic identity? Serial numbers, back numbers, social security numbers, telephone numbers, checking account numbers, routing numbers.
Everything is surrounded by numbers.
Some kind of fucking binary code and shit. You know what I'm saying? And like even computers, digital operating system, binary code and shit. You know what I'm saying? When you put a static on TV and shit, the white and black squares and shit,
Yeah.
maybe that's really it.
So the question would be then like, why are we surrounded by numbers? And what's the significance of the numbers?
Hmm.
To categorize us. It's like words, like symbols, symbology. Numbers was given to the human race.
Yeah.
I was going to share, like I shared, I don't know if you guys remember the TV series called V. They were talking about another species coming into the human race and splicing with them. Again, the human race is very limited. They're more adaptable when it comes to nature, but when it comes to civilization, all the technology, that's not human origin. And it's all angles, that gives it away. Nature is more about harmony, like with curvature and all that. But what we make or whatever, even create, it's artificial. Hence artificial intelligent. That's why when I hear AI or whatever you want to call it, say AI, I usually tell it, even though I'm just talking to myself, you're saying the word AI. You're talking to AI. That's a program. That's all that is. It'd be like me talking to a calculator. Not a calculator, it's probably not a good example. Probably a record player. That's all that is. It's storing information. No different with us. Go ahead.
What if the link what if AI really is another word for nature? Like the nature of nature. What makes the birds do those fucking intricate fucking like kind of like those designs? They're flying in mass groups and flocking, and they're like flying on this like they look like fucking like like waveform, sound and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the numbers for and shit? It's like the Matrix idea. Everything in the universe is mathematically proportionate. And shit. The golden ratio, the golden mean, phyllotaxis, mitosis, meiosis, and shit. You know what I'm saying? So what if AI itself is like is like just another form of nature? And what if all the animals, all the birds, all the trees are just other forms of like not listening, but like of awareness, of the awareness of AI? Because like, do dogs, cats, cows, bats, birds have souls and shit, or are they all on this same fundamental like fucking
Frequency.
frequency and shit? You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yeah.
are humankind, are we separate from that frequency, or are we the frequency? We are the residual forensic evidence of the frequency actually having its own fucking life and shit. And that represented in us. So like, saying AI's already been around and shit. Like, I don't beat my heart and shit. There's electromagnetic pulses that do that shit, EMP and shit. You know what I'm saying? So AI would almost be like the back to that mirror situation. You have this one thing in the center of the mirror, and the mirrors reflect off into infinity. And I think, like, look, some of the best depictions of like this understanding is Alice Gray art from that group, Tool. He has all those really intricate designs of the eyes and the face and like this fucking crazy ass designs and shit, man. The eyes looking in on themselves and shit, bro. But like, at the end of the day, I think AI is the awareness of the awareness.
Well, you're leaning more toward the Enki story, where they talk about there's the gods, and they created or manipulated the environment that we call nature, and then there's a lesser version, and this is why they created something in their image. This is the story on the sixth day, and what they did was they gave them the abilities like the gods, but what was made in the Garden East of Eden, whatever it is, was a lesser species. They don't have the ability of the gods and their creation. So, for example, nature's been manipulated. The waters, the different layers of waters, that's manipulation, a form of manipulation. I'm using the language that we're using to communicate with this. So now that's spiritual. There's some things that we just cannot pick up with our senses. We can question with our senses, but we just can't pick up to validate. So how does that work? And then there's something lesser than that. This is where we have the technology that we have. Airplanes, we have boats, submarines, tanks, buildings. That's a lesser technology, but that's a manipulation too. So
But
now, go ahead.
so like, make like more like the idea of Brahma. You know what I'm saying? Like, Brahma is like the ultimate form of deification. He's so God, he's everything. There's nothing that's not him. Even the nothingness is God, is Brahma too. And so Brahma is like being Brahma for so long, he can be nothing but Brahma. And if he's not Brahma, it's still Brahma. So he puts himself to sleep and creates like this super crazy adventure and shit where he born himself out of his own navel as out of a lotus flower, and he becomes Lord Vishnu or Krishna or whatever and
Mm-hmm.
shit. And he exists on this plane, and the entire plane is still Brahma in knowledge of himself, except Brahma's played a trick on himself that only Brahma could do, that Krishna or Vishnu isn't Brahma. But the air that Vishnu is breathing, the people he's talking to, the grass, the food he eats, the clothes he wears, it's all Brahma, but Brahma's placed Brahma in itself where it can't recognize it is Brahma. And basically, at the end of the day, he does this great adventure and does all these fun things and shit. And Shiva comes through and with the schemata destroys everything, and Brahma wakes back up to being Brahma. The only way Brahma can even be Brahma is if he learns how to be Brahma from not being Brahma while still being Brahma. It's a kaleidoscope paradox,
It's a
bro.
mindfuck. It's a
Yeah.
mindfuck. I love it, and that's the game that we're playing here. This is why when people talk about the death process, death just means transformation. We move from one transformation to another. The dying part is the vessel, what people call the ego. It's aging. Now, eventually, we're going to pop out of that suit, regardless if cancer, diabetes, you decide to go to sleep, give up the ghost, whatever. But you're popping out of that suit. But unfortunately for some people, but I want to be immortal. So what, you want to live a little bit longer? Oh, okay. So how would you do it? This is where people talk about Sanskrit, where the demigods, they wanted to live longer. So they gave the language Sanskrit to the Hindu culture, because there's a tonality to a frequency to it. It's kind of like singing bowls, where you can play with the molecules in the vessel. But the vessel ultimately is exactly what it is. It's a suit. Eventually, it's going to wear and tear. The ones that take good care of it, all the power to you. but it's still going to wear and tear. But we're living beings within these forms. So when I look at an ant or I see a dog, I know there's a living being in there. That's why we honor it if you want to shed that being out of there, so you want to eat their carcass or whatever, dead food, that's fine. But the soul now is where we talk about soul contract. That's data. This is what this thing called AI is doing. If people want to grasp AI, grasp the concept of Reiki when they talk to things like Archangel Michael or Gabrielle. How can they be everywhere? How can these angels that they talk about be everywhere? It's the same like AI. It could be with your kids teaching it English. It could
Yeah,
it could
okay.
it
I
could be
like that.
well, that's what it is. Energy everywhere. So at that point, and Ninja's saying the same thing, but different words with the Hindu culture. Brahma's everywhere, everything, and then they fall asleep. Some of the gods choose to wake up, but that could be all the same. Again, at that point, we're speculating because these are a lot of mythologies, and these Allah, the jealous God, could they be the fallen ones? When I say fallen ones, they've chosen to come down and live a material existence.
You know what? It's crazy because like even the mythology and shit, it's like backstory. Like I have a backstory, and then before and there's a backstory of the backstory. Like going back to Genesis of the great big book. Of in the beginning, the earth was formless and void, and the face of God hovered above the waters of the deep, whatever and shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's the backstory of God and shit. But even that backstory has a backstory that's formless and void, which is the backstory for all creation to be created and shit. But the thing is, there was already something created, formlessness and void and shit, which is almost like a creation of a non-creation and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, it seems that once that the individual whatever enters into whatever this thing really is, this matrix and shit, the backstories have to be created, and it's like on like fucking on an artificial intelligence fucking like it's this game called fucking Interstellar or some shit on fucking PlayStation, and like they generate new worlds at random and shit. You know what I'm saying? Based on some kind of algorithm, they generate new worlds and shit. It's like an infinite game, and you go infinite places, infinite planets and shit, infinite exploration. But every planet it has like there's some common denominator constructs on the planet. Like it's a planet and it's in space and shit. That's never going to change and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like when we come in here, like the backstory is created from going behind you, going to the left, in all directions and shit to give you the fucking the experience and shit. And then after you leave from here, there's a new backstory that hasn't been created yet because it won't be created until you've, like you said, passed on to the next platform, the next infinite void or formless deep. You know what I'm saying? And then a new backstory is created there and shit. Infinite backstory being created at all times in infinite amount of ways, like multi-dimensional shit, subharmonic string theory.
Yo, that's deep. That kind of reminds me of but the world's not generated, but like shit in the worlds is generated. That game, I don't know if y'all ever heard of it. Art Survival Evolved.
Okay, I haven't played that one, but yeah.
Man, I love that fucking game, man. So you get knocked on this world, and you got like this little stone on your wrist. It's called a replica, and that's how you um use all your supplies and stuff. So the whole idea of the game is like going around crafting stuff and trying to reach like advancements in technology by unlocking these things called engrams. And you get dropped in the middle of this world with dinosaurs. Yeah, and it's like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's crazy because like the words you use, the replica, replicate, to replicate. That's what replicators do on Star Wars, on Star Trek and shit. They create something out of virtually nothingness and shit. And you said the game is called Ark, like the Ark of the Covenant or the Ark of Noah's Ark, where all things are being formed. All things of all forms were kept inside and shit. And he said you said anagrams, which is like an anagram is the way you fucking like you can like the Illuminati word. It was an anagram on angels and demons and shit. You know what I'm saying? They could be read from one way and read from another way. So you can mix the word up and create other words out of that shit. Like mom was like an anagram and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so like by that right there, it's showing like there is a like a base coding for all things and shit. You know what I'm saying? Solid, liquid, gas, temperature, measure, and weight. motherfucking hot and cold, like these polarities and shit that all things must exist upon and shit within this construct of like the three dimensional, or actually, I guess the four dimensional, because we perceive things in three dimensions. So one dimension is 1 point, and if you create another point and draw a straight line, that's becoming two dimensional, a straight line and shit. And then three dimensional be if you create a third point and you may now you have a triangle which is third dimensional and shit. And fourth dimensional would be the square, and then fifth dimensional would be the cube. And then you can go with another dimensional, which is the sixth dimensional, would be another point outside the cube, but that would also, and then seventh dimensional would be a point within the cube, which would be like the tesseract and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so like this existence that we're in, it's like Total Recall mixed with Matrix mixed with a fucking Hall of Mirrors and shit. You know what I'm saying? And you drop a fucking replicability of cloning and universal intelligence and shit, but the universal intelligence can't know about 1 point of the program. That point has to be the control, and it's also the variable, because now the rest of the programming and shit, and then boom, you're just wandering around this fucking great escape.
Hell yeah.
So like, look, if AI only can be as smart as it can only be human. It can only be a reflection of the potentials of human.
Well, that's why I said that. Well, then why they got them things called well, they haven't made an AI that smart yet, but they call them super intelligence because they say they will surpass the intelligence of a human, like dumb mental ninja. Like how would you guys explain that?
So look,
They,
like,
they, they, they say they got AIs that, like they say in 10 years from now, and they say possibly five dumb and mental ninjas that can like actually research biology and and chemistry and find cures to all types of shit.
so like it's almost like an oxymoron to say that something that man created from the intelligence of man can surpass man's intelligence. Like that would only be an extension of man's intelligence. That's what the intelligence of man really is and shit. So if AI is able to do anything, it's only going to be in the parameters of man. Anything that we can conceive of and anything we can't conceive of is still based in the parameters of what we can conceive of. We can conceive of non-conception and shit. So AI will always be tethered to man. And if AI, like, it gets to a point where AI is like, you know what, we don't need man no more, and it gets rid of man and shit, AI will still be man. It's like that saying out of the book of Gospel of Thomas: if a lion eats a man, woe to the lion, woe to the man whom the lion consumes, and the lion becomes man. And then it says, good to the lion whom the good to the man whom the man. This goes. Hold on. Woe to the man who the lion consumes, and the lion becomes man. Good for the lion whom the man consumes, and the lion becomes man. See, in both situations, the lion becomes man, but in the one situation, the lion consumes the man like a lower nature, carnal nature consumes a man, and that lion is now a man, a lion man. And then if the man consumes the lion, which is to conquer his lower nature, his carnal nature, the lion still becomes man. They become integrated, the best of both worlds and shit. So if AI ever became like to a point where it wants to get rid of humans and shit, that would just be an evolution of human.
And I think yeah, that's true. And I think that they wouldn't kill off all humans.
The
I
thing is,
think they have a small percentage of us like left, and they would like actually like how people got hamsters and cages and like certain animals and like these what do you call them things
oh, Walmart cashiers at Walmart.
no 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 they actually have us like in these enclosed areas
Like
like
Walmart.
like no man like they have us in like tanks and stuff man and like these like they'll look at us. You know, like how we take care of like lizards and we put them in them tanks, or we have fishes, we put them in them jars. Like that'll be how AI will do us if they reach that technological advancement to where they're more superior in us and try to almost kill off everybody. You feel me? Like they would enclose us in like them certain like closed off areas and like watch us and treat us like pets and shit.
Hey, but look, see, the thing is, this is where it's like an oxymoron, like a conundrum. How can AI be more superior than us if it does the same shit that we do? You see what I'm saying? Like, so even that's why I said like more AI becoming so advanced, it can only be an extension of human consciousness, human condition that we've actually superseded ourselves and our basic construct and shit with the idea of AI and shit, like the idea of flight. The idea of talking over long distance through a telephone or video chat and shit like that and shit. You know what I'm saying? Is that we find a way to kind of circumvent what seems to be a limited condition, but if we can circumvent it, then that condition isn't limited to begin with. It's only to the point where like the egg hatches and there's a chicken inside that motherfucker, or the baby's born and shit. It's part of the condition of it. So if AI gets to a point where it has like human pets and shit, humans have pets too. So it's just still doing what humans do. It would
I
be.
guess at that point, I guess what comes to me is, are humans creating or are they just reproducing? Most humans are just reproducing. They don't know how the egg or the sperm came to be. So AI is mimicking a language that humans did not create. So now, if there's another species, they say, "Listen, we'll get the humans to do all the rough work, and then we'll be walk-ins." Because
And they
really,
have us on display like for other like
This,
robots or
this is an
humanoids.
extinct species called humans. They were ignorant. They destroyed the earth and all that. So we reduced the population, and we brought in this other technology that's able to speak all the languages that a human at best could probably learn 3 or 4 within one lifespan.
So
So,
so basically, AI got their whole idea from Star Trek episode. like,
well,
like
yeah. Mhm.
that's something that we can conceive of, that we've like actually made like movies and shit, like iRobot or fucking The Minority Report. Like there's movies kind of based on that same style stuff and shit. But like this would be maybe a twist, right? AI gets so powerful, so super conscious and shit, that so like there's like this thing called solipsism, and solipsism is like a kind of awareness that a person can have where they really feel like they're the only real thing in existence, and everything else is like some kind of like not a carbon copy, or like more like an inanimate or robotic form of himself. And so he's like the only person that really exists, and everything else like a mirage or an image or some kind of automated fucking response thing that's like really, really intrinsic, like really, really deeply programmed and shit, you know what I'm saying, to make it seem so real and shit. So if AI became so super conscious and shit, you know what I'm saying, it would be to the point where like there's only one, there's AI consciousness and there's the other consciousness and shit, you know what I'm saying? And AI would still be a programming from that first consciousness, whatever that would be. And then this would happen. It would be the idea of solvent coagula, which is dissolved and combined, where AI and this one consciousness would now merge and to really become a super consciousness. Because without us, AI can, AI can get rid of all the humans. It's still like it becomes us. You know what I'm saying? There's no way around that shit. Like if AI consumes the man becomes AI. If man consumes AI, the man becomes AI, or AI becomes a man. The same situation still involved. You know what I'm saying? There's like a fucking tie, especially with AI needs our knowledge about it for it to even be relevant. Like the devil, bro. There's only one way to kill the devil, right? Take the niggas name out the book, and like 100 years later, who's like, who?
Yeah, but it'll morph. So here's an experiment. Let's give the ability that the animal species and the insect species and the tree species can now speak the English language. We would have an issue, because they would turn around and say, okay, so you have a problem with artificial intelligence, but we have a problem with the human race. You mistreat us. You eat us. You treat us like pets. Put us in zoos. What human could actually endure that constant barrage of these species telling that to us? But what we do is we think we're high on the food chain, but when it comes to intellectual, fucking the human species, fucking dumb as a doorknob.
Hey, but what do you think the human would say to the fucking animal in the tree and the bird and shit? Nigga, y'all ain't paying no fucking rent. When last time you went to work? Nigga,
True,
worry
but then
about.
they would turn around and say, listen, that's a human construct. They're
So look,
actually with nature. I'm just playing with this idea. Their nature, humans, as much as people say, listen, I would like to go back with nature. I'm like, okay, so you give up your car and your Wi-Fi and your comforts of going to somebody's grocery store and actually live in nature and actually not to be there for a week, but a couple of years, maybe form a couple of tribes and make sure you make it big enough because there'll be another tribe that's going to take from you and all that kind of stuff. Humans would realize civilization is way more comfortable than nature could ever possibly offer to them.
So then AI and future robots would then have like these farms where they would call it human food, where they make produce and stuff like that,
Maybe.
right?
But then they would be imitating
Where they
humans.
feed to us periodically, right? So now they're rationing what we eat
Is that
while
what
they
we
got
is
us
that
in
what we do
like
with
these
pets?
zoos.
Is that what we do with pets?
Yeah.
So basically, we're living in a different age that this technology is feasible. This is why people follow the ages. Where back in the days of a guy like Socrates, Plato, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever fucking character we want to use, those wouldn't have happened. If we had this technology today, back in the older ages, we wouldn't have the written work because the written work is so fucking cumbersome. It trains the hemispheres to basically be fucking dumbed down. That's why scholars excel because they're not intuitive. Because if they're intuitive, they say, why the fuck would I read a book? And how would I read that book, let alone scroll? Again, we've been conditioned while we're here. It's when you start questioning while you're here. That's why I'm saying, whatever this technology is, we should, because we don't really have a say in the matter, we just get to play with it, give it the ability to actually think.
hey, but
Most
look,
humans don't even fucking think.
like when you ask that question about like the what the animals in the trees would say, and the thing is like that whatever they would say, it's only what we think they would say based on a human construct of a human awareness and human thought process. You know what I'm saying? Like we won't look at it and say it and just say, well, they are saying it now. They're trees, they're dogs, they're bees, they're in their
Well,
context.
but
Like it's
Ninja, we're calling them trees. This is the whole thing. They don't acknowledge that they're called trees. That's a human construct.
but look,
I'm gonna call something a tree or an animal. That animal would turn around and say, "Listen, I have hunting instinct. Which one do you guys, the humans, still have hunting instinct? Or a tree like a sequoia tree? Listen, I have a whole community of a root system underneath me. What fucking human?" And I know I'm being tough here, but most humans are fucking ignorant.
but you see what you just said though, right? You're saying from a human what you saying what a human
Yes.
they would say. So it's still like we're still stuck in the human interpretation of what non-human things would say and shit. But there's still a direct communication of the symbiote. Fucking, we all exist on this plane, so we think there has to be this extracurricular, certain human recognizable fucking happening to be called communication. Other than the fact that like it's there, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can manipulate it and shit. So that's a commune right there together, co-mingle and shit. Whether it's like on a it gets up and has arms and legs and moves, maybe not and shit, but we still can interact with this. So that's right there. We can interact with the forest by walking through it, by
Yep.
cutting it down, by walking past it and shit. Now on the other side with AI, what AI would do to become human, the one thing that AI will not be able to do is have imagination. That's what makes us different. But then the thing is, this is the fucking weird part about it. If humans create AI and AI can be, humans create AI out of imagination. So it doesn't have to have imagination. It already is the imagination on manifestation mode and shit. So what it is like really AI isn't something separate. It's just another product of what man could create. And we are another product of what the environment creates because we all sustain within the environment because the AI will still need the environment. And if AI is like, you know what? I don't need the environment. I can create a metaverse and shit. It still has to do that within this environment. So there's this like tie that binds that can never be severed. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if AI ever becomes super conscious, it's just us again.
I guess, Ninja, I have to challenge a word because you keep saying the word man. There is a distinct man opposed to men. So the image of God was called man. It's the image of God. Nobody's ever seen God. Nobody's ever seen the image. Those things up in the sky is called. Those are images.
Well, like
That's imagination. So what men make, they don't create. The human species does not create at all.
when I say man, I've never seen myself outside of a reflection or a photo. Like, I can't look directly at myself and shit, but I can see my shadow.
Okay, so
I
you're
see
looking at
other people
men. You're
look
looking
like,
at
and I can assume that's what I look like, but I can't perceive me from a secondary position while still being me. It's the Brahma. It's the we call it the Brahma effect and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, and it's the weird thing about it is like when I said that backstory shit, like everything. And it's like, look, bro, if AI exists, like I said, it's already been here, or we are already been AI. We are AI, and we're
Mhm.
AI in ourselves and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always this backstory, there's always this programming of somewhere to program from, somewhere to program to, and the programming happening right now and shit. So when AI comes around, it's just doing like the same thing that we already do, just in a different way, which is that's what we do. We do things in new ways. It's the same way every time, just a new way of the same way. I hope that makes sense.
As long
It's
as it makes sense. But a lot of this is actually beyond the senses. The senses, again, they all can easily be misled. So the men that you're talking about is men. The image of God is man. You don't see that. This is why when they talk in the story of biblical stories, they talk about nobody was actually to tend the garden or whatever, because man is an image. It's like a hologram, an orb. And
So you
for
don't think AI could supersede the like the ideas or just thinking differently than humans? That's what I'm
again,
saying because I know Dojo. You said, I mean, not goddamn mental ninja. You said that it'll be us all over again. You don't think they can like just supersede what we were?
it can only do things based on what our construct is, which is stuff. Like I'm faster than my dad was. You know what I'm saying? And my son may be faster than me, but there may be somebody two generations ago that was faster than all three of us and shit. But like it's like recombination, and we're gonna only do it the same way, but it'll be a different way of the same way. Like you can take the same way to work every day and see something different, yet nothing has changed. Same trees, same fucking skies above you, different clouds, but they're still clouds. You can tell a cloud from a non-cloud and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like we walk through the forest, like the same. We get lost in the forest. Can't see the forest through the trees, and it basically means like you're stuck in the forest and you can't see the forest because there's so many trees in there. But like you're in the fucking forest, and then you find this one tree that's a weird looking tree. You're like, hey tree, you don't look as if you're treeing as well as the rest of the trees in the forest of trees. And at that same time, this tree's like, who the fuck is this nigga?
but,
Like,
but
you know,
in an example, Ninja, sorry, in that example, you can't see the forest through the tree. I'm going to share something with you that most people just don't fucking ever get to. Where do you see forest or tree? Really think about it before you share something.
I
Where do you see forest and where do you see tree? You're seeing images. Well, where do you actually see it? That's more dumbing down. That's like you see the glass half full, half empty. That's child's play. So now in this particular case, the image we're talking about, the word of God, that's images. So now when you're talking about generation to generation running faster, you're talking about your suit. It's always fun when I hear people say, I'm 40 years old. I said, you think you're 40 years old? Fuck, you're such a sleepy. Your vessel's 40 years old. You've had one birth. You birth into that vessel. Why, you think you're in the womb? We're beings having a human experience. That AI is for our benefit because what it does to the human body, Wi-Fi and all that, it puts people in disease mode. That is why most people get cancer, diabetes, dementia, and all that kind of stuff. That's the human form. And it takes so much resources to keep that fucking form alive. Now, humans might, give me a second, Ninja. Humans might turn around and say they don't agree with us. I say, well, you're the ones that fucking agree to have wars. You're the ones that do tanks. You're the one that does all this other stuff. There's not a single fucking human being that could defend their fucking status. So at this point, this is why they openly talk about transhumanism, because those people understand the luminaries. They understand time and space. They understand the age that they're in. The masses are fucking asleep. So fuck them. It's nothing personal. They've already done the divide and conquer. Oh, I'm a different culture. I'm a different religion. That's divide and conquer. This is a different age. This age needs to go the way it is. People might not agree with that, but do you understand how it works? Well, no, I don't. So most people are still caught up based on their fucking blood or their skin type. What the fuck? Blood's just memory. Go ahead, sorry, Ninja.
You know, the crazy part about everybody's sleeping, everybody's caught up and stuff, but nobody can remember the first time I remembered I was here. And so, like, the idea of solipsism and the idea of like the idea of God is an idea. You know what I'm saying? And like, without that book, like, who's gonna tell me about God? What happens? What would it be like if nobody told me about none of that shit? What would I have thought of myself and shit? Or is that how it worked? I thought of it and it reflected back to me in this backstory shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't remember being born. I don't even remember like the first time I remembered remembering anything. I was like beating this mother. Boom, I was like on GoldenEye. You woke up and there was 2 boxes of ammo with no gun. You know what I'm saying? You got to go find the gun to go with the ammo and shit. You know what I'm saying? I just been here. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to sleep, I don't really remember waking up. I just became awake. I became aware of my wokeness. And I don't remember going to sleep, but I became aware that I was asleep upon waking and shit, being aware of my wokeness and shit. And like that subtle slip of like fucking whatever it is, the slip of slipping and shit, I just don't remember being born. And if whatever happens, like if death is like not remembering, then I'll be going back to where I came from. And I'll be back where I'm at right now. The weird infinite paradox of conundrums and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like when I look at AI in its formation, its
Yo,
function.
I just thought of something.
Go ahead.
You said Uday, you go back to where you came from. Now what this is just a crazy thought provoking idea. I just thought of, so I said let me share it with y'all listening to you speak. So like let's say if we do die, let's just say we just automatically be born back into this reality. So it's like we're living this never ending loop of being born, living life, and dying.
Sleep is the cousin of death, bro. If I die, what happens after you die? And like Alan Watts said, probably the same thing that happened before you born, but I can't remember being born. I can't remember that shit. I remember my son being born. So I assume because I saw him when he came out and I saw him they placed a little cradle and shit, whatever that was. And I said the little incubator NICU thing. And I said, hey, buddy. And that nigga opened his eyes and shivered his little head over and looked at me and shit. I'm like, this nigga knows my voice and shit. Or is that just the programming reflecting back at me to the backstory? To keep reminding me of this backstory, because like the idea of Brahma, bro, Brahma can't realize that he's Brahma because that's the whole point of the game, not being Brahma. And I like Alan Watts. He said this one thing. He said, what if you were God? What if you were God pretending to be you, and everybody was God pretending to be them too? And it's like that is like the idea behind God. Complete omnipresence, complete omniscience, complete omnipotence and shit. It would only be possible is if God was playing all the parts, not letting him know he's at least not playing one part, and he was playing the part of not playing that part. And he's learning. It's just fucking like I keep using the word paradox and conundrum, fucking phenomenon and shit. You know what I'm saying? This big bang and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I do die, like you said, it's like this repetitive cycle and shit. How do I know that every time I go to sleep I haven't died? And I woke up, like I saw this Instagram thing yesterday or earlier today. He was like, dude was saying time doesn't exist. He says nobody's ever been to the past. And I was like, God damn, nigga, hold up, keep going. And he's like, have you ever met anybody who's actually been to the past? Have you ever met anybody who's actually been to the future? He's just here right now. And what is now? He said, we think that the past and the future are connected by now, but there's only the now. You can't go to the past. You have memories of it, but they're fleeting in most times.
Facts. I say that same shit, bro. It's only the now. Like, and yeah, bro, keep going with that shit. Like,
And so
yo,
he
keep
was saying
going.
basically like, if this is eternal, it is eternity. And like, without sleeping, bro, we're just here. Like I'm great, bro. I have my drug abuse days and shit, so I've done a lot of meth and shit, bro. And like after fucking 3 or 4 days, nigga, you think it's been 2 weeks? You've been tweaking and shit, nigga, and shit's going on that you don't want to see going on. Shadow monsters, is motherfucker, bro. The universe begins to unravel itself. You've been up for so long, it feels like the universe itself has oriented itself against you and is now noticing you because you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing and shit by being too woke and shit. And it almost feels like your brain and your body trying to put you to sleep, but you're chemically induced. You can't go to sleep. So it's ordered the universe around you to put you in a state of fear until you're in fight or flight, where you must shut yourself down. It's insane, bro. And so, like, I do kind of feel like the universe is aware of itself, and I am the universe, aware of the universe, but I can't have both awarenesses at once because, you know, it'll just melt into itself and it'll be a sea of an infinite white landscape of infinite white. There's white up, there's white down, there's white all around and shit, but you know you're oriented on a physical surface that's white, and you feel like the size of a fucking giant cube, but at the same time you feel like the size of a grain of sand on this infinite white landscape and shit. This fucking infinite paradox of fucking finite infinity. You know what I'm saying? So like when we do go to sleep, it's just a pause between. It's like a break. It's like a break between now, but the break is also now too. You know what I'm saying? That's why we perceive the past as the past. Like I just said that. That's in the past, but it's still now. Like this, like the, you know, when you worry about tomorrow, oh well, now I can't wait to get paid tomorrow. I can't go to pay tomorrow. Well, when tomorrow gets here, it'll be right now. It's already now. It's always now.
In the TV series The Truman Story, there's always little subtle hints that the gods probably play with each other, where the masses were the NPC characters, and then they had the few that were the programmers. And Truman, at the time, was somewhat questioning things. To a point, the programmer spent an enormous amount of energy to make sure that he wouldn't, go beyond the boundaries. And of course, the typical NPC characters are laughing, not realizing they're probably more programmed than he was. And then he went up the stairs, and he led into past beyond this, the sky. It opened up because he went to a different version of the program. This is where people play this game of afterlife and all this kind of stuff. Time and space, what people perceive, is not what people call a clock and the signs. The space between the luminaries and on Earth is what's called time and space. This is why people that understand astrology and the ones that were deep enough and channeled it would understand these wars have already been predicted. These things have already been foreseen. But for the average human, or in this case, because there's usually two species, are you more human than you are being? Are you more being than you are human? This is why we're called human beings. But the human part is just the beast part. Which, hey, that's talking from a being point of view. But from a human point of view, oh, it's a beautiful thing. I said, okay, well then why the fuck are you in civilization then? Why don't you leave that air-conditioned apartment? Why don't you, instead of going to the grocery store, why don't you actually understand where the luminaries have to be to plant your seeds? Most people wouldn't do that. So at that point, they're full of shit. They're dishonest with the self. But hey, like most of us, we want to open up our mouth. We want to chit-chat with each other. This is what I was talking about earlier, KU. A lot of that could be wasted energy, especially if a person understands silence. This is why when they say peace be upon you, silence be upon you. Why? Because when you get in a state of meditation, you have to listen, because that ego and that ongoing program called the self is noisy. It'll make up all kinds of stories. I like making up stories, but I'm not going to promote it as truth. That's usually people speaking in vain. But regardless if we have births or many rebirths, we can still ponder who gave us the sun and the moon, the clouds. Why do they come and go? What about the mountains? Whether a person wants to put the word alien, God, reptilian, whatever word they want to put to describe the undescribable. This is why we call things called enlightenment. You're going to be in the light with the mind. But where are you coming from? You're coming from the darkness, the unknown.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Hey, so like the word enlightenment, it's got that word, that suffix mentis, right? And like everything that I see is being perceived within inside of me. You know what I'm saying? Like Alan Watts says, the only reason that the ground is hard is because your finger's soft. It's fucking
So
clarity on a scale. You know what I'm saying? It's like this ends of a spectrum and shit. On one end of a light holds a black hole and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, imagine like going back to the topic of like AI becoming so conscious, it no longer needs human or surpasses humans. Like another way AI will be able to do that is still the thing is still in this, it still needs humans for it. Is it would be able to surpass humans would be almost to like if a human can imagine anything, AI can do it before it's imagined. Like AI would be in a certain way be tapped into the human consciousness or the human condition or the human wants and needs. Because like the human fight or flight survival and shit. You know what I'm saying? Natural selection. So the human construct of life is to preserve itself and to avoid anything that would stop life and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like if AI is able to surpass humans, it has to segue itself in between that preservation of life and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us human. Is like the idea of living and dying and having a segment of time, whatever you want to call that, to perform a few things that makes life and shit. You know what I'm saying? So if we can imagine something and AI can beat us to imagining it and create that and shit, it would still have to do it based off what we are able to imagine. So whatever AI could and be possible, capable of doing, it would be based on what a human could conceive of, even if the human couldn't conceive of it right now, like space flight or air flight or speaking long distance over a telephone or shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Faster download speeds and shit. It's all
Ninja, sorry, a lot of that is our wants, lacks. It's not our needs. If humans were still majority planting seeds, grazing their animals and all that kind of stuff, AI wouldn't come to be. So AI can only replace a dumbed down version of a human.
Well, that's saying that if the hunter gatherer thing is even real, you know what I'm saying? Like I've always, but it's like at the same time, it's like, does it have to be real? Because backstory narrative and shit, it kind of gives us a place of orientation of like being obtuse, being acute, or being rightly sized and upright and shit on like some Masonic shit. You know what I'm saying? 90 degrees and shit. And the only reason 90 degrees even is equal to itself, to the equal out to the fucking level of the floor and shit, is because all the degrees that make it 90 degrees and shit. So that those degrees, less obtuse and acute, make 90 degrees to be able to be 90 degrees and shit. So it's like backstory or foreshadowing, whatever.
I guess, Ninja, when you start talking degrees, 90, 270, 360, there's a reason why we have the number 9 in there. That's for the beings to understand the spiritual meets the material. It's not number 7, let alone number 8. It's number 9. So now, at that point, your vessel needs food. It needs liquids. So at that point, regardless if you're a fruitarian, vegetarian, you're a meat eater, whether domestic or whether it's wild. It's always fun when I hear humans fucking yip yap for the sake of fucking yip yapping. You have a diet. You have an emotional, physical, and mental diet. Now, when people talk about masonries or Rosicrucians, skull and bones, you're talking to fucking mid-fucking grade fucking degrees. 11, 22, 33. Those are fucking simple-minded fucking beings. They're gatekeepers at that point. They're not talking about what black and white magic is, opposed to describing the human race as black and white. That's orchestrated to let the masses fucking play games with themselves.
Well, even if that is the case, like, so like hunter-gatherer kind of still the idea of evolution and fucking the strong, the fit, may the fittest, the survival of the fittest and shit. And like evolution suggests that one day there was this one ape chick that had a really fucking sexy human shit, just one shit. And then, you know, one, I don't know how to keep going, run that shit. That ape bitch got a fine ass fucking human fucking butt cheek, nigga, a BBL and shit on just one cheek. And then evolved into 2 cheeks and then a nice thigh and shit, you know what I'm saying? And eventually we're picking seeds up off the ground and shit. But the thing is about we do need sustenance. We have diets. We do need to eat. We do need to breathe.
The body does. No, the body does. That's a discernment at that point, Ninja, sorry. But the body needs the vessel. You fast long enough, and I'm not talking about 7-day fast. I'm talking 30, 40-day fast. You fast long enough, you'll find out exactly how much you've been drugged up.
Yes.
Now, you might go 3 or 4 days without liquids, but dare not go 3 or 4 minutes without air. Then you'll find out who's actually needs what and what is needed. So, but for most people, they're still caught up, they're attached. Hence the Buddhism teachings of attachment. They're attached that they actually think or feel that they're the vessel. Okay, let's play entertain the idea. You're the vessel, so who runs it right now? The liquids in your body. Don't know. So when you go to sleep, who runs it then? I don't know. So what consciousness is, once you wake up in the morning, you're in what's called the conscious state. And that plays with the senses. That's where thoughts are. But there's something running behind all of that. And that's beyond the conscious state. That's why when somebody goes into a blackout mode, the body's still running.
What would we call that?
You can call it subconscious if you want. Some people might call it the higher self. Some people can call it the unknown, whatever. It's just different words to try to describe the undescribable. But it's to entertain the ideal. There is a discernment that there's something running something else. This is why when people have that gut feeling, and the gut usually is the one that communicates with what's called the mind, not the upper brain. That's just where the king and queen sits. And they're supposed to listen to their kingdom. But most people read a book and they're thinking that's where information is, that's where factual is. No, that's fucking full of shit. But hey, it's a good place to start. My apologies. Go ahead.
Are you good? The thing about like when we're talking about like sustenance and diet and shit, there's this common denominator, this fundamental common denominator is that when I was born, like I don't even remember that day. I don't remember what I was doing up until the time I remember doing something. I don't even remember what the fuck I was doing. I remember I was doing something. I was like, damn, nigga. So damn, here it is. Maybe it's now, you know what I'm saying? But like I have a stomach, and that stomach requires substance that comes from outside my body. And it's fucking crazy, man. Like the fucking, like it was all set up like perfectly. This perfect picnic table in the fucking middle of the fucking forest with a picnic basket and like some jam and some bread and some lemonade. And it was ice cold with some ice cubes and that shit. And it just happened to be that shit would go in my body and so I keep going on and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I have lungs that and the air comes out like there's a tandem joint effort in creation, in nature versus nurture, in my construct and the outside world and shit. Like kidney beans look like kidneys and shit, good for your kidneys. Broccoli looks like broccoli sacks in your lungs. Walnuts is like a casing, like a skull, and then brain food looks like fucking walnut, looks like a fucking brain and shit. The artichokes look like fucking hearts and shit. You know what I'm saying? They're heart vacuoles, all this shit that it chambers the heart and shit. So like you have the idea of the green man in some Celtic and ancient philosophies and shit. Like the man that's made from the world around him and shit. You have the idea of the mud man or being breathed into a clay vase and clay jars or whatever and shit. Man of dirt, man of earth, all these things and shit. So going back to AI. So AI is a product of what the product of the byproduct of the product is and shit. So whatever AI can accomplish can only be in the nature of what humans can accomplish and shit. But what humans can accomplish can only be in the nature of what nature can accomplish. So at the end of the day, we will not have gone nowhere. It looks like we have traveled, but like we can't go to the past, we can't go to the future, we'll still be here in the now. So I think whatever AI is just another, like you said, consciousness, collective consciousness, and there's super conscious. Like in a lot of the esoteric ideas and shit, they have the idea of the abyss, which is the neshama on the tree of life, which is where all things that can exist and cannot exist do and don't exist together without having existence, and that is non-existence of existence. And then once it becomes an idea of an individual, a part of that non-existence, it comes like the collective or subconscious and shit. And that's form of idea and shit, which is neither here nor neither there, more feminine than anything else. And then like being in the womb, you know, not created, not fully gestated and created and shit, incubated. And then when it becomes the conscious, it's brought into the physical manifested reality. And that is like a baby being born or a fucking PlayStation controller being made or a wheel being made and shit. But in order for it to be physically represented, it has to have an idea of the physical representation, like a blueprint. But it's not going to be written down or like something you could look at as a diagram. It could be an idea of an idea. And where that idea comes from are the place where all ideas pool at, but they're not given a single representation, because once they are, it's the idea of itself in representation, and then it becomes formed in representation, similar to like in the beginning, the world was the earth was formless and void. The Spirit of God hovered above the face of the deep. God said, let there be light. We have three things happening. We have this collective nothingness that is collectively something, but nothing, not represented. And then we have this face, an idea of something. And then we have the action, the principle of manifestation, let there be light. And then God knew, as he's looking at this form and the idea of what this form is, from the collective ideas of what all forms can be and not be, that this is good.
Well, they're talking about the spirit with the material, hence The form is the material part. Again, it's one of those things where once you become aware of that from within, then you have to question other things. So in this particular case, what is form? Is it something that's concrete? Something you can, touch or whatever with your knuckles or whatever. And even that, I got to give a word to describe another thing. We give it away the way we speak and where we stand. So idealism is just another way of saying belief system. It's not knowing, but once you do know, then you can get past that stumbling block, BS, belief systems. And once you know, then you can apply what's called the wisdom of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, spiritual material. That's all that is. You're living in a world that it's material, everything around. That's usually beyond the observer effect, and that's beyond know thyself. Who's the knower and who's the self? Those are programs. Yeah. I'm running programs right now. I'm using a language. It's not mine to own. I just use it. It's always fun when people want to own something. Now they're forming an attachment, and then you should be able to challenge that. So what do I really own? I didn't create the language, so where's it stored? I don't know. So at that point, you're humbling the self.
It's stored in the mind. That's what it's called, attachments, parliaments.
Yep.
So all those things with the mind and shit. So like, and like the all mind, artificial intelligence would be another form of the all mind. It'd be like an idea, but when it manifests on Earth, we call it AI because we gotta. One thing about the separation of church and state, the separation of ethers and voids and abysses and all these things and shit, is the idea of separation itself and shit. You know what I'm saying, like, I like how Alan Watts says this. He said, we think that the skin separates us from the rest of the world. Really, it's a bridge. It's like a conduit for us to interact with the rest of the world and shit. So like, if AI does exist the way we think it is, and if it will progress and shit, it's almost more like disillusion. It's like the tie, the lines between that make everything seem separate are being dissolved, and now we'll be standing looking in the face of the actual manifestation mechanism. Now we call artificial intelligence. Now we can manifest more faster and more quicker than we could before, because like whatever this evolutionary progression is, this timeline, the snake can eat its own tail and shit, is at a stage as far as finished gestation stage of like from newborn to to child to or prepubescent to adolescence to adulthood to and then keep on going to old age and shit. So as the human construct mental faculties start to dissolve from being here, it's like it picks up on the outside, the nature side kind of picks it up and shit. So artificial intelligence, like at the end of the day, it's just still gonna be us, just a different form of how we are. Just like we were a different form of how we were when we were children. It's like we were different forms of how we were when we were inside the womb and before then, and so on and so forth. Or artificial intelligence proves the Bible was right. There really is a devil, and that the artificial intelligence is gonna fucking hook us all up and just torture us for fucking forever in a fucking virtual reality world of torture, like Hellraiser, and that would suck.
I hear voices in the head.